All
Boys.
right, we're back.
Oh, it's happening. I wanted it. Socotra straight on the opening. They did not wait around. Let me know. I want to go for both of you. First of all, Dabston, how do you feel about this map? Because the community as a whole had big reservations when it was first entered into Wololo.
You know, it's one that I was hesitant at first. I was like, oh, it's just like mountain clearing, but with water instead. And it, for some reason, it just plays better. It's more interesting. It's not this like, I'm going to drop an English white tower in the middle. You got a lot of different kind of play styles and things out there and available. So I personally, it's grown on me a lot. I've enjoyed almost every game I've casted of it. It's been interesting. It's been kind of off the wall strategies and some strategies we expect, but just action, fun, exciting gameplay.
Crackety. I mean, like, you know, you've been there. I think you were maybe doing a few scrims with some of the players when it first came out to get a feel for it. Definitely a map that I think most people just writ off as memeful at first, almost like a second mountain clearing.
Yeah, but at the beginning, maybe it was like that. You know, the first version of Socotra that we did see, it was very different from what we have now. But now that we do have this kind of like more balanced version of Socotra, I gotta say, I love it. I absolutely love it. This map is absolutely beautiful. It feels like a much more balanced version of mountain clearing, I want to say, and one that really like enforces its main identity. Like on mountain clearing, you have this kind of like campy kind of play style. None of that in Socotra. No camping here. This is where the action happens.
Yeah, I hope they take a lesson from this on how you can make claustrophobic maps work for different strategies, Dabston, because you know, sometimes I think it's fair to say with the generation tools that we have in AoE 4, you do run the risk of just doing another Dry Arabia that's just wearing a different colored disguise, right? Like maybe this time it's a ginger beard and some spectacles. Next time it's like a big red nose and an afro. But every time, like, look, no offense to regions, but when you think of regions in Dry Arabia, right? Very comparable.
Yeah. And there's still a lot of the maps that are I mean, look at the picture of regions and the picture of Dry Arabia. You could switch the names and it would be the same. I literally would have no idea. And there's a few other maps that can kind of be similar. There's a few maps we've seen that have water, but it's not actual water, or just like a wet Arabia. You're like, cool. But it's one that it's still maps that are interesting as long as there's some sort of different play styles, some sort of different balance, different generations, which regions does have that. You have the kind of different food spawns, some kind of intricacies there, but it still has some similar aspects to it.
Yeah, and you know, I think the beautiful thing is actually in this tournament, it's delivered some of the most absolutely memorable games, right, Crackety? Like I've seen the absurdity of picks. I remember watching a Byzantine game where the most ridiculous fight occurred over a Grand Winery placement that I've ever seen for a Byzantine. Full stop since they released. We've seen the
Kawasan. The Kawasan Byzantine game?
Oh, no. So the Kawasan one, I know what you're talking, the proxy in the center, right? That was Dragavan. There was one I cast the other day. I think I had a Louis PuppyPaw one, which was insane. There was another one the other day where it was Mali. It was actually this matchup, funnily enough. And it turned into a Malian outpost rush. Then it turned into a proxy base at the outpost rush. Then it turned into a Limitane spam. It's fair to say that, like, seeing these two civs here, in my mind right now, 100% of this matchup on this map has been pure chaos.
It's been, I mean, in general, when you put these two civilizations against each other, it's already all about aggression. You put them on Socotra together, it's like you put a dog and a cat inside of the same basket.
Yeah, you just gotta
put a rug over it.
You just gotta hope that maybe it's a Chihuahua and your cat's pretty beefed up. I mean, it's crazy because I think that the interesting thing about these smaller maps, Dabston, is they don't give much room for mistakes, right? Like, one mistake can cost you a game, whereas Dry Arabia, you know, a mistake gives an edge, but there's recovery time, right? Because of just how far apart you are. Socotra takes that out of the equation. It basically puts you, as Crackety just said, in a very claustrophobic cage.
Yeah, you know, on Dry Arabia, that's a perfect example of a map where it's like, oh, my front side's getting pressured. Well, I can slip out and get some backside deer. I can go over to the corner and get some berries. I can do all these different... With Socotra, it's like, they got one outpost up, they can see everything, the whole entire map almost, or two for sure. And you're like, all right, great. There is no sneaking out to resources. It is, you have to stand your ground. You have to hold that spot or you have to fall back. And if you find yourself, you know, making a farm transition, which obviously these civs don't have to worry about as much because you got the olive groves, which are actually great, and you got cows over on the other side, then it makes it a lot easier. And that's one of the huge strengths of Mali is those cows. You will see them, you know, maybe getting put in some cattle ranches. There's not a ton of room, but a lot of times you will see them being eaten as well.
Most definitely. And, you know, like sometimes you don't even get the full ranch. It's just munching on it and going full feudal. I think that's the other thing. In a feudal meta, we do see a lot of feudal all-ins on this particular map. But let's look a little bit wider upon the draft here, Krakody. You know, we've got our itinerary for the day between PuppyPaw and Beasty. I'm noticing Japanese. I'm noticing Juji. But I'm not noticing your typical water map where you'd want them. You know, looking at these two players, looking at the civs that we came out, do you see a clear edge here? Is this in any way going to feel like an outdraft, or do you think both have exactly what they need?
I see some nice comfort picks for PuppyPaw. So he's, for example, he's gotten China, which Beasty also very much likes as a civilization. So taking that away from Beasty, definitely a nice win there on his side. And now I don't remember the other civilization, which is
he had Rus as well.
Yeah. Production got you good there. So there was the Rus on one side, English on the other, right? Because that was their bands, their final picks. I believe PuppyPaw had the Mongols. Chinese, I think, got snatched away by him as well.
Yeah, he's also like PuppyPaw also got Juji. So having China and Juji feels very, very nice. Like you can pick Juji on Kawasan as well. Feels very good there. Beasty, he's got the Ayubids, he's got Delhi, he's got Abbasid. So I'm not sure how much I would favor those civilizations in most situations. Like Delhi is nice, but they don't feel as nice when you pitch them up against something like China against Juji. English in general feels like a very solid civilization. But I think for the most part, PuppyPaw has the tools to deal with that as well. It's going to be interesting. Like, my personal take here is, me as a player, I would favor PuppyPaw civilizations. And I'm not 100% sure if Beasty civilization picks here. Sure, Beasty always says, oh, he can play every civ. But even he would have to agree that there are civilizations that he's less proficient with than with others. And I see Ayubid, I see Japanese, and especially the Japanese one has me worried.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's for Kawasan, but you've got Basses as well. Maybe some question marks around that. And I mean, Dabston, like, you know, to Krakody's point, when you look at PuppyPaw, to me, top 3 Byzantine player, probably the best Chinese player we're seeing on comp right now. Like, he's insane on this civ. Mongols, nothing to turn your nose up at. And if what Wham done with his Juji up against Beasty is anything to go by, if PuppyPaw's got something similar in mind, it's fair to say that there's a very lethal dose of pain waiting for Beasty in this draft.
Yeah, and you mentioned Zuji. Well, Zuji is obviously the Chinese variant. They don't play the exact same, but I've seen a lot of the strong Zuji players who know how to play late game, know how to play in these different parts, be strong or previous, you know, strong Chinese players. Well, that I would say kind of coincides with PuppyPaw as well. So I definitely think that the Civ draft goes over to PuppyPaw a little bit. You mentioned Mongols. Mongols is also a comfort pick civilization for Beasty. We see him play it a lot across a lot of different maps as well. And that's one that PuppyPaw was able to snag on away. So a lot of just kind of ease and just comfort there for him, whereas it might have gotten Beasty a little bit off with some of the picks and kind of pigeonholed him in some of the maps as well.
Yeah, I think I'm especially scared as to what answer he has for the Mongols and Frisian if we get that deep. We'll have to find out. It is time, folks. The penultimate series before our grand finals here. PuppyPaw versus Beasty. Lower bracket to see who will try for vengeance up against Wham. Wham responsible for putting them both down here on the edge of elimination. Let's see who will try to seek their vengeance and who will fall on this day.
Starting off the series, we got PuppyPaw playing as the Malians in the color red. On the other side, we got Beasty playing as the Byzantines. Early olive grove drop here coming in for him, and we're on a very tiny map, Socotra. We're in the middle of the ocean, surrounded by water. Players have minimum amount of room to play with here in this one, and you can already tell just how crowded it is when PuppyPaw as the Malians can't even fit all the houses around this pit mine.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where the early olive grove drop makes sense too, because you're now depleting your sheep. You're depleting the other food resources a little bit slower, and you're giving yourself that early olive oil benefit early on as well.
Yeah, definitely. Just making sure that your sheep last just a little bit longer can definitely make a big difference here. Gonna be interesting to see what we're gonna be seeing here from the Byzantines, but tends to probably just be the Grand Winery here, I would assume. Definitely has a nice spawn for it in the back-ish towards the water. You could say it's a nice spawn, until you take into account that we also tend to see a lot of water play on Socotra.
Yeah, and it's not usually like right off the bat and immediate, but it's all of a sudden, you know, randomly an arrow ship all of a sudden starts knocking at your doorstep, and you take a couple shots, and then you get denied off of gold for a little bit. You got to rush down a dock, or you build your early dock and just have to react with a ship once it comes over to your side of the map.
Yeah, an early archer ship could actually prove quite devastating here if PuppyPaw goes for it against Beasty. He is gonna see it now where the berries are positioned exactly, and can tell that's right next to the shoreline. If Beasty goes for that Grand Winery, and there's an archer ship coming in, there we go.
And there's
the Grand Winery as it comes in. Yeah, and that definitely like opens up the opportunities here. I think PuppyPaw, I mean, it's the usual play anyways with Marlians, that as soon as you go for the age up, you immediately send most of your villagers over to wood. So it kind of like already incentivizes like a dock play here as well.
And age up just now coming through for PuppyPaw as well. Mansa Quarry being built, 5 villagers on top of that. Scout for BC being annoying though. So if there is a dock that's going to be dropped, he's going to see it for now.
No, he's not. It's going to be
my.
proxy dog. There we go. Coming in with the sneaky shenanigans 2 minutes into the game. Killing a deer?
Huh?
Okay.
Oh.
Sure. Goodbye, Bumpy.
It doesn't have anything to do for the time being. Won't be able to build a dock yet, so he's gonna go ahead and get some food.
True.
And then when he drops the dock, he'll be able to get a free drop off.
True, and it makes sense as well. Like the deer, you carry 25 food, so it means that it's gonna be a while for you to have to drop off. So that actually makes a ton of sense here.
Yeah, the only scary part is that, you know, it does kill a deer on the map. If BC's aware enough, he'll know a deer randomly died, but that is a hard spot to see this early on too.
Wood is coming in now. Doc should be getting dropped any moment. There we go. Doc's gonna be on the way. And now it's a race for the resource to drop that archer ship as soon as possible.
Yep, Grand Winery has finished. The berries being gathered. Cistern looks like it is wanting to be extended right next to that winery. And there we go. The dock has now about to be finished, and I think we need a little bit more food.
More food, a little bit more wood, but should be coming in sooner rather than later. And Beasty might get enough maybe for one batch of mercenaries, but this is gonna hurt him quite a bit. And can we actually check like the follow-up resource that we have here? How many sheep does PuppyPaw have? How many sheep does Beasty have? When we look at the split there. Sheep-wise, PuppyPaw.
PuppyPaw's got a lot. I think that's like 13.
Does.
Oh, yeah,
9
14.
alive, 5 dead. And on the other hand side, Beasty, he's got
12.
6 alive, 6 dead. Okay, so still has a good amount of sheep remaining. We're actually seeing a stables come in. Oh, that's gonna hurt. That's not gonna be wood that he'll have available to him for anything else, for another production building.
Or a dock. Or
Yeah.
a mercenary house. So he could be denied not only off of the berries, but also off the gold for a good little bit too.
Oh, the outpost is not gonna be in time!
No. Oh,
This is huge.
perfect timing
The
by
timing.
PuppyPaw here with this war canoe.
And the gold as well. Getting owled out now.
This is
Heavy
just
losses.
such perfect timing. Beasty having to move forward to the middle berries and the middle gold. And now that's just asking for PuppyPaw to start sending some units that way.
No production building yet out of PuppyPaw, though. Is spending the wood on some houses on that pit mine. And walls coming in as well. Boar not going to get pulled anytime soon.
For now, though, at least PuppyPaw caused some eco denial, caused some annoyance there, has his own walls on the backside, and there is the first production building, an archery range going down, and both players have been getting their eco upgrades behind this. Beasty just a little bit ahead.
That's gonna be javelin throwers in queue now for PuppyPaw, but Beasty already prepping the horseman. And now that's going to be the mercenary house coming in. Beasty, I mean, the olive oil gathering now is going to be slow because not only is it outside the range of the Grand Winery, but it's also outside the range of the cisterns.
Yep. And same thing with the gold. So just not getting the extra little bit of a boost that you get from those cisterns. And now, though, he at least has a solid amount of villagers on those berries, so at least is getting closer to 200 olive oil per minute and has enough for that first batch.
Yeah, and it's typically just going to be those longbows that will come in here from Beasty. PuppyPaw, though, immediately has the answer ready for that with the javelin throwers. The only issue for now is going to be those horsemen, which PuppyPaw has already spotted, so can just opt to make his own donzos.
Yeah, will need to be making some donzos at some point. I'm sure he's been dropping or getting close to dropping a barracks if he doesn't have one of one coming on soon. Has even reinforced his little berries, making sure no horseman raids can come easy onto that outpost.
Definitely a nice little reinforced base so far. We're even getting a stable in, so maybe instead of donzo, it's going to be some sofas here from PuppyPaw. Interesting play. I think we've seen something like that from him earlier as well.
I kind of like this play, especially with Beasty having to move out onto those gold, out onto the berries out there. He can just circle around anytime the horsemen are out of position, and the longbows can't step up to the sofas, and it just is going to idle out those villagers for quite a while.
Yeah.
I do like that PuppyPaw has been able to get a few cows into the mix somehow, some way.
A good amount as well, yeah. And now javelin throwers, I mean...
they could have stepped
onto
up
the gold. I'm guessing he doesn't expect BC to be in the gold there rather than just on the berries. But yeah, it should have stepped up a little bit further than he would have seen.
Just playing the defensive game for now, though, as Beasty is taking one of those vital resources and finally spots out where the dock goes, starting to put some torches onto that.
Archer ship is going to move towards that. We're now also seeing some Lamidne coming in. That's going to be a perfect counter to those sofas coming in.
Yeah, the question is will those sofas circle around to the berries, or are they going to try to go all the way to home? But during this, I think Beasty moved out to his original berries and is trying to get a quick outpost. So many villagers idled, though, having to run back home. He's going to reclaim the Grand Winery.
Yeah, that's going to be good for him. Villager is going to go down, though. It's going to be first pick off.
Yep.
And yeah, as he said, outpost has come up. Yeah, I think he should have probably just given up on that dock. It's much more important to make sure the berries... Yeah, that the berries are going to be denied.
This is a fight, though, that BC's starting to move out. Oh, wow. Some damage there.
And placement's going to come in, though. But I guess every now and then you can be quite annoying. Like maybe if you even get a second archer ship in, you just try and do as much damage before they can hop inside.
And we're at the point, though, Beasty needs to be careful about stepping up. There's a good amount of javelin throwers, so it's one that, like, I feel like you got to take the fight or not, because those horsemen will start getting damaged pretty quickly. Sofa getting poked by the and you can say the same thing on the other side, and there is exactly what PuppyPaw didn't commit to the fight. Took a lot of damage on those Sofa.
Yeah. Archer ship quite weak at the moment. Has to be careful. Takes a lot of damage. One more shot is going down to the outpost. Unlucky. And
the house in that stealth forest gives Beasty a lot of vision. Stealth forest is one of those things when you're observing and we're casting these. It's a lot easier to kind of assume all of this vision can be seen by these players, but it is way, way darker than what we're seeing here.
And right now, Beasty behind all of this, he's also mechering up towards the... Of course I say it. Up to Castle Age, and upgrade, and 2 horsemen, and 2 more Levitna, and suddenly the resources are gone again. Alright, guess I'm not calling it anymore. Beasty's gonna go to Castle Age whenever he decides, not when we call it.
Yeah, speaking of on the other side, Puppy, up to 6 cows. And Beasty is starting to build some siege engineering, so I think he wants to start kind of getting closer to all into the base, getting closer to putting some pressure on Puppy.
PuppyPaw built up a lot of javelin throws, though. We're getting to the point where he's going to be able to relatively easily be able to start one-shotting these horsemen. Once you get to that point, it's going to be tough for Beasty to close in on any of these fights.
House
Especially in
actually
chokepoint
House is
situation.
Beasty right now. So all those units in queue are just sitting in queue for the time being.
Houses do go up quickly, though, for the Byzantines, so that shouldn't be too big of an issue indeed. Now House is up again.
And immediately houses him again. And there's the next house. There we go. Now we're good to go. But just as you said, couple of javelin throws hit some wolves, but one of the horsemen goes down.
And the count is just building up further and further. And then once you get to the point where you have the TC fire as well, it's going to be difficult for Beasty to really push the issue there. But he's gotten a lot of the olive oil so far. We're up to almost 20 longbows. The next batch is going to be coming in shortly. And already almost enough olive oil for the next one. And PuppyPaw is just putting up outpost after outpost right now. He's been having the Mansa Quarry on stone for a long time. I like this play. Just fortifying your base further and further with the free stone that you get from the Mansa Quarry. Especially on a map like this, where it is so important to get map control with these outposts.
Yeah. And, you know, there's not a ton of those resources that you want to be able to gather. PuppyPaw circling around. Right on top of some villagers on the gold in the middle. BC is able to go over to the gate, though. One villager falls. And Beasty wants to push forward now. Ram has been built. Or Karasiphon has been built. And first outpost that has been reinforced starting to be taken down. But those javelin throwers are putting in the work
it's a
here.
Outpost. It's taking barely any damage from the Karasiphon. The fortifications on that outpost just too strong.
Yep.
Actually too strong. It's taking no damage. The 5 fire armor makes all the difference here.
And now that looks like a good amount of wasted resources there. A villager can come out and tap that tower a few times if PuppyPaw wants, or it can just provide the vision. There's another outpost right behind it, and PuppyPaw's still just going to continue to try to kite with these javelin throwers, do some damage. Doesn't want to take the engagement with the sofa with that many limit-to-9 there.
Yeah, but now Beasty just about to be able to click up behind that PuppyPaw. 10 cattle in the ranches, but Beasty with the military lead. Once Beasty goes up now to Castle Age, it's going to be difficult for PuppyPaw to hold that. Now we see barracks coming as well, so we are most likely going to be seeing a switch into the ranking guard. And there we go, Age Up coming in now. Beasty, 24 longbowmen out on the field. You upgrade those to veterancy, they're going to be able to take engagements against the javelin throwers.
The only big drawback I see now and the big hole in BC's plan is if the food starts to run out. He doesn't have the typical massive olive. No, he only has 1 or 2 last I saw.
Really?
So, yeah, I'm pretty sure. The last we saw the hover, I only saw, like, yeah, I'm used to him having, like, 20 when all of a sudden we hover back over.
You're right. Yeah, barely any food right now.
This is what I'm scared of, is if the front side starts getting denied, but I think he'll be able to reclaim those triple deer pack in just a little bit.
He's going to need them for sure. Another archer ship has been produced in the meantime. Age Up now comes in. But PuppyPaw, he's right there as well.
Age Up, a blink of an eye.
And once he gets up, his upgrades are also going to be coming in super, super quick. There we go. Lots of villagers building the Grand Fulani Corral now. And veterancy comes in so quickly for the Malians.
Yeah, and Beasty just got pulled back because of that archer ship with all of his longbows. So very, very slow-moving army. He does have an outpost there, but that, again, that it's going to circle right back around, continue to cause the denial and annoyance. There's no upgrade in that outpost yet.
At the same time, something that I've actually been thinking about is, after Beasty had these outposts with the emplacements, I feel like if PuppyPaw just went for like 1 or 2 demo ships, they were so close to the shoreline, maybe he could have just made that towers disappear.
Yeah, that as well. But I mean, I feel like even the idle time this has been in cause is more than paying off. Your new age begins for PuppyPaw. All of a sudden, all those cattle doing that much better. Upgrades, like you said, come through that much quicker for Molly. And right as the berries are running out is when Beasty is stepping forward. PuppyPaw needs to fall back, needs to wait, needs to delay this fight as long as he possibly can.
It's got 13 cattle right now. PuppyPaw's food economy is looking very, very solid. And now the javelin throwers, veterancy about to come in. They're going to be able to do a lot of damage to Beastie's units on the retreat. Just need to make sure they don't take a lot of damage there themselves. If those horsemen do manage to come in. Now we see sofa upgrades also coming through.
Imported armor. Now those sofa will be those pseudo-imperial knights. Woodline's actually getting pretty close to being in range of that fish or military ship as well. And for now, I feel like Puppy's main advantage is what I was mentioning. Beastie's having to make this Olive Grove transition right now. That is what's delayed this push. That is what hasn't allowed him to kind of have that pedal to the metal full gas forward yet. He's only at 100 olive oil per minute. You can tell Byzantine is not the typical Byzantine right now.
Yeah, all the berries have been exhausted. That gave him a nice initial rush, but now the follow-up is missing.
And that's where Puppy, you can see his queue. He's making the transition into archers, more sofa, which we already talked about are going to be the imported armor sofa. He's taking away a lot of the vision that Beastie was getting from those houses, as well as taking out houses, which is annoying. Housing Beastie again, but he'll just drop another house.
And now we're getting the archer switch up as well. Archers for the Malians with those poisoned arrows. That's going to be the main answer that PuppyPaw is going to need against those Varangian guards together with those sofas. And yeah, that's going to be the main composition here that we're going to be seeing out from him. More stables getting dropped as well. Lots of villagers on gold. This is going to be a solid play from him. Beastie, though, right now still has the military mass lead by a lot.
Look at the Q differential. That's the key, though.
Beastie,
he's got
upgrades.
He's got one Varangian guard in queue. He's got one set of the longbows in queue. And there we go. Now there's a little bit more in queue. But look at Puppy. 7 sofa, 5 archers. His queue is about to be wild. He's going to continually move across. And Beastie, he wants to keep the Limited Knight together, protecting the longbows. And instead, the sofa are just going to roam, circle, push, pull, and raid without these walls. Because Beastie, he doesn't have walls.
Oh, but we're getting the Mangonel out from Beastie now. He's going to start making some siege, and on a map like this, which is so closed off, it's going to be difficult to win if you go behind in the siege, and PuppyPaw, I'm not sure if he's expecting the siege right now.
No, and we know Beastie has been known as, you know, the siege king for quite some time. He's pulling that army over to deal with the sofa mass, and Puppy, he's moving across over on the other side. The Olive Grove transition has now kind of come into fruition. Not quite fully. He's not quite on the same level that Puppy's at the other side. But oh no, that's the vision we're talking about. So the Mangonel. This is scary now. Puppy has no idea.
He doesn't see. He doesn't have the scout there. Only one scout with the army. Oh, the army is just camping there on the sacred side. Oh my god.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Neither of them sees it. Now he sees it.
There it is. It's dead.
It's dead. It's getting killed. Oh my god, that is
that's such a huge pickup.
clutch.
And not only does he pick up the Mangonel, he picks up a bunch of horsemen too.
He does. He does. And the military is a little bit out of position right now, I want to say, for Beastie.
Yeah, there were a lot of Limited Knight pulled to the other side due to the sofa mass. Puppy's circling back around. He's going to be able to use this mobility, kind of close the gap, try to close on the longbows first, or just protect up his own javelins. Next Mangonel pops out, though. Puppy, takes a nice shot. Good shot by Beastie, and that's just the front one. Beastie secures up a relic as well, starting to bring that one on home. And starting to wall the north. This is what Beastie needs to do, knows what he needs to do to extend this game.
Poison arrows now coming in for PuppyPaw. It's still going to be a while until that finishes off, though. Doesn't have +2 pierce damage yet, which he really will need if he wants to take good engagements against the Varangian Guard with his archers.
Oh, gold is starting to become a problem. Beastie didn't want to go onto that backside gold by the water. He's moving back up towards the center, doesn't yet have the walls down. Look at these military masses.
These two civilizations are just massing military up so quickly. Beastie now up to 2 Mangonels. PuppyPaw needs to make siege right away. He cannot keep just not making siege at this point in time.
Yeah, you got to make Springles here. The Springles will force them back. And there we first Springles in queue. But Beastie's starting to push forward. Are they going to be there quick enough? The sofa can circle back around that from the eastern side, or they can push through themselves. And it looks like Puppy's thinking about pushing through right now. Beasty pushing through, doing the same. Are we gonna see just a massive
the workshop
set
is
of
forward.
base trades? Base trades
Workshop is
advantage.
forward.
Oh, you're right. Springle's about to pop out right now. Springle pops out. It's moving backwards. One shot. Beasty's not looking. Next shot. One
Good
mega
shot
down.
though. That was a huge shot though from Beasty. He just killed like 15 units there. At the same time, the sofas are going down. They're engaged against the Midnight. Oh, the sofas are gone. All the sofas are gone.
An awful fight by PuppyPaw on two different fronts. Great microing by Beasty, but there's still archers there that are trying to deal with the Limited. There's some more sofas circling back around. Beasty's starting to pull back. He lost a lot of villagers during this. And remember, the extended game, the villagers matter way less for Puppy. The base trades are definitely better for Puppy because he has all that cattle, all of that passive income.
He does, but I still am quite fearful for the situation that he's in right now because Beasty's now up to 3 mangonels once again, and PuppyPaw just lost the siege workshop.
Yeah, he's only at 100 wood per minute. There was not a lot of wood on this map. It's all in the center, and Beasty has control of the center and has made that Olive Grove transition looking really good for himself right now.
Finally, more Springles are coming in. Beasty now also adding in his own Springles.
Puppy's
It's so annoying when the counter to siege is also the counter to itself.
Yeah, and Puppy doesn't have a solid wood line. Secured a good mangonel shot! 3 more units fall, and more the villagers. This is bad. This is
You gotta pull him away
Puppy doesn't
again.
have wood. This is the point where Puppy doesn't have wood. He was trying to get enough stone, I think, for a keep on the middle wood line, but this is the point where he can't move up to drop the keep now.
Yes, he's dropping it. Oh my god, there's nothing. That keep protects nothing.
Yeah, you're not doing anything with that. Mangonel's moving forward.
Springle.
One shot by the
trying.
Springle. No.
He's just running for the Springle.
Villagers committing to the keep. Oh, good mangonel shot again. Keep's about to finish, but this is too late.
Oh my god,
looking
the
like-
mangonel shots. We went from 60 to just 25 army with that mangonel shot.
It was so easy to dodge. 1 for PuppyPaw. 3's a different story. It is all but over. Game number 1 goes to Beasty in a crazy back and forth, massive militaries, and takes advantage of the early siege.
Insane how the cow boom from the Malians was not enough to keep up with the Byzantines here on such a closed-off map. You can see with the military, okay, military value lead once again doesn't tell us anything because oil units are bugged. But look at how Beasty just keeps up there with the food count. Granted, he doesn't have as much food, but olive oil is just absolutely insane there.
Yeah, and you can see by the resources gathered, you'd think that this would have been an easy one for Puppy. But there's that 5,000 extra olive oil that makes up for, the gold differential. And so it's a lot more kind of on even footing, but Puppy was just not able to do enough, not able to push through and just stop that Byzantine onslaught. But Socotra, the crazy map, goes over to Beasty, and that's just the first one of this wild Redemption Finals series.
Yeah, that's a board. That's a point on the board now for Beasty. Does eke out that early lead, and next up, we're gonna be moving over to Kawasan.
Yeah, so we're getting both the maps. Oh, I guess Frisian Marshes has some shoreline fish, but both the maps with the big amount of water out of the way first. So Kawasan, this is the one with some deep sea fish. This is the one where it's always interesting to see which spawn we get. Are we going to get the share the same pond or go to different ponds here? PuppyPaw's playing Zushi. Beasty is playing Japanese. So I know you mentioned this in the pre-lobby before game 1. Beasty maybe not being the go-to Japanese player when you think about his Civ strings.
Looking at Juji versus Japan there. BC with the Japanese, PuppyPaw with Juji's legacy. I mean, we've talked about Japanese, and there have been like these buffs with the Shinobi. And I know Beasty was like the first one to immediately hop into custom and was like, oh yeah, you can actually run under somebody's main TC and sabotage the main TC with a Shinobi. I don't think that's going to come to play here in this one, just because it's very difficult to pull off in a tournament game.
I think I remember seeing 3DB do that in a while ago in the past, back when he was still playing AoE 4, and this was one of his games. But Shinobi are always that interesting unit that they either seem so strong and so great, or absolutely worthless. And I feel like there's not much of an in between. You know, you'll see him fight spears and like, oh my god, and then like having these great sabotages. But then also at times you'll see them just immediately get sniped out and be, you know, kind of like a worthless spearman.
Yeah, that's what happens at some points. Now, Kawasan with Judy's Legacy, there is this one spot at a certain part of the map where you might want to put a meditation garden. You just might want to put it there. You're slightly incentivized to do so. Right in the middle where all the berries are, where you can get these big payoffs. You can see meditation gardens bringing in a whopping 200 food per minute there.
Yeah, I mean, imagine the meditation gardens triple, quadruple. How many times has this been nerfed at this point? And it's still this super strong landmark that on certain maps can just be that much stronger. And this is one of them. There's so many berries centralized in the middle of the two ponds, but sometimes it can end up being a bait. But game number 2 begins. Beasty was able to secure game number 1. He's spawning in the south side, playing as the Japanese in the color yellow. PuppyPaw in the north, Zuji's Legacy in the color red.
All right, here we go. Typical behavior so far. Players moving out to drop their dogs early on in the game. Actually, where's PuppyPaw's villager? Is he not going for it? He's not going for it. Dabson, he's not going for it. Can you believe it? What's he doing?
I don't know. He's aging up quick. He's gonna.
I guess.
I mean,
that's what the meditation garden in the middle is gonna be for. It's gonna be bringing in as much food as all of these fishing ships on water, and then you just invest it all into military.
Yeah, just use the timing to deny the water.
Just next to the relic. You just put it right next to the relic. You soak up as much of that food as you can, or even there. There's so many good spots there you can put it in.
I was just worried about it fitting there. If the relic wasn't there, I know it could.
That's what she said.
Oh my gosh. Damn it. All right. Well, Beasty finishes his dock. He's going to start producing up some fishing boats, but will he expect this play? He scouts out the gold already. He's circling around, and I'm sure he's probably thinking exactly what we are. And he's like, wait, no dock? There's no dock? Where's the dock? Okay.
Something's wrong. Something's fishy here. Something's going on.
Ooh, battle for the sheep. Beasty able to secure up a few of those and needs to start probably heading on home. And there's the 3 villagers moving out. The meditation gardens is getting ready to start. And let's take our guesses on how much food. Oh my gosh.
Okay. I just hope that that's the maximum that he could have gotten there. It does still get over to the other berries. This is still going to be a very good one. Yeah, this is going to be a great one. I'm going to guess... Okay, how much food are we guessing? I'm going to guess this is 144 food per minute.
168.
All right. Chat, you can guess too.
Yeah. Everyone throw out your guesses there. Get those numbers in. If you get anything right, you get nothing. If you get
it right, you're getting a Age of Mythology key. No guarantee.
Oh, okay. That's from Crackety. He
said
it,
no guarantee. I'm not. It's not legally binding. It's not legally.
He said no guarantee. But all right.
Stop offering uneven numbers. It doesn't work like that. There's no uneven numbers with it.
All right. And now Beasty starting his own age up with the Coca Township. There's the dock already being dropped. 3 villagers rushing it down. So plans to immediately get out his military ships. And like we said, the food from the meditation gardens makes up for the fishing boats, especially when those are about to be idled out in just a little bit of time.
Yeah, you're gonna need more than one dock though, because once those shinobi come out, you're gonna be under at least a little bit of pressure here. When it comes to being able to have uptime on your dock. Granted, the first archer ship should be yeah, it's already coming out, so no worry there. With
Yeah,
the
it'll get out well before the
shinobi.
shinobi can get there. There's only 3 fishing boats, so easily able to jump on inside of that dock. Won't be any worry at all.
It's gonna
Puppy
be
was
idle
trying
time
to
force
kinda-
now.
Yep.
Wait, what?
Puppy trying to
Huh?
kind of cut off the route back home. Make the
And he
pathing
is-
weird. I've seen this happen a lot. I've seen people get a little bit greedy there, lose some fishing boats, and that's the last thing Beasty can do right now.
174. And the gold as well.
Oh, I wasn't even
That's
thinking about the
200
gold.
resource.
Oh
I
my
didn't see the gold there
God.
either. Damn. Okay. Dude, it's giving in as much food as Beasty's getting right now overall, total. Jesus. That's crazy, man. It's crazy.
That is wild, to say the least. And look at this. There's 2 boats out already, an outpost up, and the shinobi. What can they do?
Not really anything. There's an outpost now as well, so the villagers are safe as well.
I think Beasty's just going to try to get as much food as possible before letting these die, and they're going to die. There's a demo ship waiting. It's not even worth him building anything else out of this dock. He's already moved out over to the other pond. I think he should double dock the other pond, and that should just be his go-to plan now.
Oh, man. Yeah, this pond is now, at this point in time, lost for Beasty, but he is moving out to another pond, and he does have the shinobi to make sure that PuppyPaw can't move over there immediately.
Yep. And he's double docking it, just like I mentioned I wanted him to do, so it makes it that much harder to even stabilize. I think PuppyPaw shouldn't even contest the other pond. Just take this pond for himself, use that meditation gardens and get it rolling. Get your feudal age, pressure. You've gotten this little bit of foothold in the middle of the map, and just take your map control.
He has an archer ship out there. PuppyPaw does spot this out, but doesn't really have any tools to deal with this immediately. How's
The
PuppyPaw's
Chooks.
gold looking right now? Does he have some... Okay, he is getting Shugenus out right now. I was looking at the gold and was wondering, okay, does he have something against the Shinobi there? Outpost is coming in as well.
Yeah, so he'll have 2 different spots per outpost. I guess that means the archer range is in the center. Proxy range, it is. Makes it to where that lack of mobility for those Chooks, they're able to get into the middle, get into the action a little bit quicker. And now Beasty, does he have anything on his gold?
Not right now, and he's getting pushed off there right away.
Oh, 1 villager almost taken down, but not quite.
Oh.
And he is going for an outpost rush.
That shouldn't go up, though.
This is spotted out, and
Does PuppyPaw react to it, though? He's not sending any Shugenus over there right now.
I'm not sure. He obviously sees it. He's got his own outpost. He doesn't have stone for getting upgrades. Chooks aren't heading that way. There's
They
2
are now.
shinobi.
They're moving there now.
Shinobi, though.
That's late, though. He might have to pull villagers.
That's going to be dead villagers. Shinobi do a significant amount of damage. They can do the...
Now he's moving the other way again.
Oh, no.
He's just letting it go up.
Does he just go down to the middle gold?
He can,
Just-
he can just go to the middle one. It's awkward, but that's his only choice at the moment. Beasty now moving into his own horseman.
So Puppy will need to get some spears for himself.
does,
Already
alright.
prepping that barracks, and he's already been on that gold in the center, so it's not like it's full gold denial. And there we go. The other villagers circle on around. And really just some idle time caused by that outpost, and a lot of information that it provides, though, for Beasty. And that is one thing that you cannot say enough of about these high level players. Information is the key. Knowledge, knowing what to do, knowing how to react.
Speaking of information,
And I
that's
feel like
how
I
it's
just
said.
jinxed Puppy.
Yeah. Nice how we have some red villagers chilling with those yellow horsemen there.
Yeah, it's not obvious at all that those are shinobi. I mean, villagers.
On a secret mission.
They're like, yeah, no, we're friendly. We're friendly.
Ooh, double outpost now coming in. I mean, that's a target. That is a target, if I've ever seen one. If you're PuppyPaw. Doesn't have any blacksmith upgrades yet, though, and you will need rams if you want to attack this.
Yeah, extra range damage in for your Chooks goes a very long way, considering they're firing 3 shots apiece. And it looks like he's wanting to get some sort of damage. He thinks that Beasty's on this gold, but in reality, he just double outposts the middle gold. He's actually starting to push forward. Puppy needs to drop back. He might have a perfect flanking position here, though.
Sending a villager with those units away forward. There we go. PuppyPaw now sees the outpost. So now he should know what his next plan, move should be. It's you gotta shut this down ASAP.
Yep, cannot allow Beasty to get up to castle, but look at the resources. Beasty, all he needs is 1 or 2 drop-offs with this many villagers on that gold. Jumps inside both outposts. This is still idle time. He needs 150. He's got what, like 15? That's just one full set of drop-offs here, and he'll be up. He just needs more gold though behind that too.
He's gonna need gold as he goes up as well, in order to actually get units out. Does have a lot of fishing ships. That's the benefit with Japanese. You can just reboom into fishing ships insanely quickly. There we go. First ram is now going to be coming in. We do have the floating gate on its way as well. The issue is that Zhuji really just shines when it comes to starving out Japanese of resources once they go up.
And here we go.
He's going to have enough for 3-4 mounted samurai maybe, but there's already spearmen.
Yeah, and first ram has finished. Second ram's being built now. I feel like this is the timing. Puppy needs to go sooner than later. Floating gate about halfway there. Beasty's got 500 gold already stocked up. He had so many villagers on that gold. I think he knows he's about to be denied off of it, so he's over gathering it right now. Knows that a lot of the food's going to be coming in from the fishing. Now's the time to go for this hold. Pulling the villagers back now.
Putting the villagers inside the outpost. They're gonna get taken down though. So putting them inside the outpost doesn't really achieve much. Shinobi do jump in, try to take down the spearmen, but are getting absolutely obliterated here.
Oh,
that's gonna be a lot of dead vills.
I feel like you took this fight too early. I feel like you just had to give up this location, try to take the back gold and stall and delay, but instead, like you said, 9 villagers inside of these outposts. They are going to be so easily taken down by Chooks. You can see PuppyPaw already starting to step forward, planning on those villagers falling out. Takes one.
Didn't step far enough. There we go. Kills the other. Beasty moved out to the other gold though.
Yep, back gold has been taken as expected, but that is a lot of villagers going down, double outposts going down, and Puppy still has a huge mass, and Beasty does not have the units to counter it. It's mounted samurai, and these Chooks do a lot of damage for how many there are, because that whether it does 1 damage or 2, it's like great. It's not about that. They're firing 3 shots apiece, and they still got some spears to be the front line.
Yeah, Puppy immediately heading out towards that second gold. Beasty pulling all the villagers away early. Is going to be able to make sure that no villagers go down over there. And he's been able to gather up a lot of gold from there as well, once again.
Yep, this is the problem with that super immobile army. But once he's done with this gold vein, the Rams then get to start pushing forward, start to deny the wood lines, start to hit the houses. And that's really where Beasty can... Oh, and never mind.
Okay. He's just going to move around and go back from the front.
Oh.
F's in the chat. Nope, we're there.
We're good.
We're back. We're back.
And Beasty's now playing it patient. Look at what he drops. He knows what he needs. It's a mango, but he needs to be able to have enough units to protect that mango as well.
Yeah, I feel like that's quite greedy.
I think if I were Puppy, I would have just sent one of those Rams over to the dock and just...
Oh, he's got a Yorishiro inside of it as well, and PuppyPaw, he's just sending it. He's just sending it, but the mangonel, it's coming out now with the choke point.
And a good dodge by Puppy. We saw him do this earlier. 1 mangonel is nothing. It is all about a lot. But he's still in another choke point, though. You can't dodge there. Oh, my God. The hit.
Big
Mangonel's
damage.
falling. Villagers got pulled to heal the Mangonel, and all of those villagers are going to fall. The spears are dead, though. Other villagers are pulled to kill the ram.
Kiting is coming in. One ram going down.
In this choke point, though, now it's so hard to get a circle, so hard to get effective damage onto those chooks with all of the mounted samurai, even though there's only a few. Some others circling for a raiding party. That chook mass is getting shredded now. There's a few mounted samurai. Beasty doing great micro, pulling back the lower health ones and distracting with a raid into the base. This whole entire mass on the front side should get cleared, and Puppy does not have a lot of damage to say for it as far as landmarks go, but took down a lot of villagers there. Oh, reinforcements coming back up, though.
Yeah, more reinforcements coming in. Beasty, he needs to get back onto wood, needs to get more of these mangonels out if he wants to hold this. At the same time, also moving down towards the other gold once again. Gets the relics in. This is really important for him as well, just getting that passive trickle of gold. And nice early move away with the villager. Just one, maybe two are gonna go down. Maybe three?
Three go down. Beasty, though, he's at least on some of the resources he needs to be. He's doing some raiding, so there's a... Oh, no! The mounted samurai! They're able to get 3-4 villagers there, but I don't know if villagers is really what Beasty needs. He needs to kill more and more of these military units. Shaolin Monastery on the way for PuppyPaw, and he has 15 eco lead and quadruple the military mass still.
Yeah, this is going to be quite tough. Once the age up comes in, you can just upgrade your Zhugedu and suddenly you're able to deal damage even against these armored units, because Beasty,
he's going to find the gold.
He doesn't have a lot of upgrades on his units right now. He's got +1 pierce armor. He needs at least +2 in order to keep those Zhugedu from not doing any damage to him.
He's going to find the gold.
Can just go crossbows. Oh my god, that's going to be devastating.
And not only that, I'd love to see this ram go to the water. Beasty doesn't have to just take down the docks. It's his only food. But I mean, this should be good enough. Tons of villagers. They're having to run. Wheelbarrow does go a long way, but the ram has units inside. We just saw.
That's where the relics are.
And there's a proxy. No, it's proxy.
You take that down, that's 240 gold per minute down.
That's 100. You're just forget everything. The units inside the ram should jump out and maybe get a few more of the villagers, and that's exactly what they did.
BC keeps making mounted samurai. That doesn't feel like it's a play right now. Oh, he's ignoring it.
There's
the ram's going for it.
There's also crossbows. The mounted samurai dive into the wood line. There's so many outposts. At least time for the villagers to jump inside. 3, 4, 5 villager picks, though. Good damage by Beasty and not any return fire, as those aren't upgraded outposts. But on Beasty's base, he is getting crushed. Units running straight towards that Mangonel.
Oh, the
villagers, no! Oh my god!
Oh my god, indeed. Lots of villagers just going down there. There's nothing left.
Slaughtered right now. Mangonel trying to get healed on up, but there's chooks there, there's spears there. Another decent enough dodge by PuppyPaw. Only a minimal amount of damage done there.
There's mounted samurai on the food, on the berries. PuppyPaw notices though. Lots of
damage is being done on either side, just crushing blows. Beasty though.
He's
got a
crushed
huge mounted samurai mass, but the villager count that he has is gone. Keep in mind, he's got, what, 20 fishing boats, probably? Relics just got denied, too. Relics just fall. You just saw them hit the map. Villagers have nowhere to go. They're going to go try to burn the, probably burn the ram and drop another monastery.
If those docks go down, there's nothing left for Beasty.
That's all PuppyPaw needs to do is kill the docks. Instead, he's just burning the landmarks. He's like, I think I just win. Does he have anything? Like, this is one of those you're in his base and you're like, where is everything? I'm so confused. There's nowhere. There's nothing.
This is a point in time where you pull all villagers, right? Right? Like, it's 116 units. You just torch down the landmarks. GG.
You could do that, or you could just play probably the safer route, which is just ram the docks.
You control Shift A and then you A move.
Oh, and Puppy, he's going to the docks now.
There we go. That's gonna shut down the entire food economy from Beasty. Well, slowly.
Oh my gosh, it's crossbows on the docks. What are you doing?
Oh my god, another raid.
And
Beasty's
another
getting good value.
I mean, Puppy's down to 25 vills himself too.
Yeah, both players are just shredding each other right now. The only difference is that PuppyPaw's quadrupled the military count.
Yeah, he's
Also
been able
has
to
passive income.
He's been able to keep his alive.
8 build.
More relics denied too. BC was trying to reclaim the relics, and PuppyPaw has his group. He spotted out the villagers too.
He's gonna go for him.
Oh no, they have nowhere to go.
Villager occupation running.
I want to see how many fishing boats. Actually, can we go over to BC's point of view and control shift all and see how many villagers he has left?
I think we got to do this for both players now, one after the
Yeah.
other.
Yeah, we'll do it without the double box here in a little bit so we can see.
Picture in picture, go away. There we go. 23 villagers for Beasty.
Mm-hmm. And
And for
PuppyPaw.
An undisclosed amount. There we go. 31. So pretty much neck and neck when it comes to the villager count.
Wololo.
Oh, getting
and
picked
more
off.
villagers.
That
This is
has to
it.
be game. That has to be game.
This is game.
Yeah,
This is it.
it's game. There's no way.
He's pulling him back. He's still in it. Not towards
Beasty
the
would say this was still winnable.
Oh my gosh.
Beasty would go out and say players calling this 100% over on delusion. No, sorry, I didn't say that.
I think we can confidently say the series is about to be tied up. 1-1.
Yeah.
There's always a chance. It's just this one might be a little bit too close to 0.
And this time it would take a miracle.
You know what it would take? We've seen it happen before. Wham internet, bro. It would take just a little bit of a tree falling.
Where's the puppy internet emote when you need
Yeah,
it?
oh, it was a puppy internet. Yeah. I forgot if it was Wham or Puppy. I just know it was the tree falling. But Puppy, he's starting to build a ram. He's starting to just burn the siege workshops, burn the houses, burn whatever he wants. It doesn't even matter anymore. There's 16 villagers left for Beasty at the 21-minute mark. The next set of reinforcements are going in. One of the docks got taken down, but there's still one for Beasty, so that's his lifeline.
I mean, the food has been active the entire time. It just feels impossible climbing up from 14 military to 90 at this point in time. Like, the production is idled out.
Oh yeah, and that's where villagers have nowhere to run. Any resources being brought in, they're basically just being thrown away into villagers or any units that are coming out because they're getting taken down right as they come out now. And Beasty finally calls it. He throws in the towel. 1-1, series tied.
That was a spicy game, though. That was a spicy game. So much back and forth between these two. And man, these villager kills have been absolutely insane. Looking at that economy count, so many dips there. Man, oh man.
Yeah, especially when you see the max fishing boats. It's like both of those economies just, take 10, 15 out of each of those, and the graph would look so much worse, which is why it just felt barren on both sides. But a very fun game to watch, very fun game to cast. But that's the last of the heavy water maps. It's going to be now a lot more of just land action.
Can we just focus on those those hypotheticals you talk about, like if you had to live in an age in the past, or if you had to live in like the kingdom of a Beasty or a PuppyPaw? I think I'd just pass on both. Okay, it sounds like being a worker in either of their lands doesn't end well for you whatsoever. But glad to say this series is stacking up to what we want out of it. A drawn series. We don't want a stomper. We want a whole day full of action here. And, well, so far, they've definitely delivered. That first game in particular, Dabston, was wild. Socotra, Malians usually favored there. I think it's a 70% win rate on that map before that game. But that Byzantine performance may have taken the cake.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those two. When you think about Mali, usually you're like, if they get to the point where their cows are online, they hit castle, you lose the game. Well, we saw that point, and it wasn't the onslaught coming from PuppyPaw. It was the nonstop, massive amount coming from Byzantines. It did get to a point where I think both players had over 100 military population, and then it fell very, very quickly for PuppyPaw and stayed a little bit up for Beasty.
Which is ludicrous. You'd think the Malians would be able to flood and repeat a little bit quicker. But then we look at this game too, and my thought, Crackety, I think BC's gonna have to revisit that tier list because Juji on LAN don't look like a D tier to me.
Yeah, this was hybrid. We can't call it Juji on LAN. Granted, it was Juji playing the LAN style, but I gotta say, like when it comes to like Juji versus Japan on LAN maps, this is for the most part exactly how it plays out. Like Japan, they go fast castle. Juji, they go for the all in. You deny the resources, and in the end, Mounted Samurai, they don't compete that well if they're outmassed 1 to 10.
No, and I think what Kawasan is presenting is what I've seen many a player on the ladder, and I'm sure you've seen it as well, Dabson, try to do on Rocky River. They always think it's going to be a good meditation garden, and then somehow it's worse than building it at home.
Yeah, and that was one though that we saw right when we clicked it. Our eyes opened up a little bit wider. We were, oh my gosh, 174, and we weren't even talking about the gold vein in there as well. It was a 200 resource meditation gardens, and that's right when it hits. Those resources start coming in now, so that's every minute thereafter. It is just way too much of a payoff. You had to do something to deal with it.
And can we just highlight how refreshing Kawasan is proving to be here? It's been a while, Crackety. It comes back. New civs involved. We just saw the Juji experimentation. I don't know if you caught the absurd Dragavan Grand Winery in center of map play as well. It feels like there's some new tricks to offer up on an old map, courtesy of Sultan's Ascend.
Yeah, there definitely can be. Regions is actually... Wait, have we seen regions even so far in this tournament?
We have.
In this qualifier?
Yeah, we've had a few.
We've had a few.
We've had, like, I think English and Ottomans have been quite popular picks here a lot of the time. We've had a few Byzantines. Iabids, not so much. But we were talking about earlier that this is kind of like the Dry Arabia-esque map. Do you see anything specific about regions that would make the Byzantine Iabid matchup play differently than on Dry Arabia?
Well, for one, we obviously have like the ton of berries in the corner, which does mean that that is going to be like one of the main points of contention between the players. On that, you obviously have like the large golds in the middle, which are always the main focus as well. As the game goes on, you do need that gold for siege, for your upgrades, if the game does go long, which, to be fair, between Beasty and PuppyPaw, chances are the game might go the distance.
We'll have to find out. Quite the distance. Sounds like music to my ears. PuppyPaw will definitely come for that. Beasty loves to be in there. A little bit of advice to you, Crackety. Stop making bets, all right? You now are in debt for Asian Mythology keys to the chat. I don't know what you try and bet on this one. You'll find a way, though, I'm sure. But it's time to find our way into game number 3 of this elimination series in Red Bull Wololo. Beasty with the Iabids. PuppyPaw with the Byzantines. Was Beasty right all along? Are the Byzantines unstoppable in this series? Let's find out.
And here we are. Puppy is in the color red, Beasty in the color yellow. We just heard the civs, and let's see what we have in store for us ahead. We can tell it's regions. The massive gold veins in the middle is the big concerns, especially for some pretty gold-heavy civilizations.
Yeah, if you're playing as the Byzantines, which do pay a premium for most of their units, the Varangian Guard, especially when it comes to gold, also the Rams costing gold as well, you will need that gold one way or the other. Also a civilization that doesn't really have any means of passively getting gold on relics. Definitely important to secure those. Same thing, though, goes for the Iabids. This is one of these maps that doesn't have a neutral marketplace, so trade is not going to be an option here. So if these games do go long, like past the 20-30 minute mark, players are going to struggle when it comes to gold, and we're going to see something akin to like a mud fight between these players.
And first thing I've kind of noticed right off the bat is hopefully Beasty should be able to circle around, pick up a few more sheeps in store for himself, because if not, PuppyPaw was definitely winning on that first kind of circle of the scout, it looked like.
First couple of sheep there, looking good for PuppyPaw. Beasty, though, he went all the way behind PuppyPaw's base, so I hope he gets at least a couple more. Should find himself hopefully with around 8 or so. We take a oh my god.
That's what I thought. There we go. There's one near his base. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't feel great. How many sheep are usually in regions? I play this map so rarely.
I want to say it's like the typical ones. It's like it's in like the
Dry
lower 20s.
Arabia-ish.
Yeah, like the 23, I think is the total.
So PuppyPaw has 7 sheep remaining. He's getting
No,
wait.
Beasty has 7.
Never mind.
PuppyPaw has 15. So we are. Yeah. One of the things about regions now, if you haven't made the notice, the big difference between Dry Arabia, not only the golds, is the food. You got your 1 set of deer, you don't have your 2 set, and the big difference is the outside food resources. But Beasty is going economic, which means
You see that so many times recently.
Yeah, if
Really
he's able to
ecoing.
secure this eastern side berry patches, like the 8 of them, that will just be food for, forever. He won't ever need a farm transition, but it is hard to secure that resource.
Yeah.
Grand Winery on the way behind it. Beasty making sure not to deplete all of those berry bushes, and so I'm sure he's leaving a couple left in each of those for when the growth finishes up. It will add food out of nowhere to those.
I mean, economic and growth. So, what's the overall game plan gonna be here from Beasty? When Beasty plays Ayubit, something that we have seen a couple of times so far is him actually going for that little bit of feudal age aggression as well, like investing into those military units. And it's worked quite well for him so far. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see something similar to that and just use those 3 villagers, produce a couple more units, stay a little bit in feudal age, make some units, try and get to golden age 2 by the time you hit castle age, and then just do transition into that castle age, either with advancement or logistics, because gold is key. We talked a little bit about it, so logistics wing might give you that little bit of bonus speed that you will need in order to just get those relics in as soon as possible.
Yep. Puppy circling out and around, wants to see what Beasty's plan is, what wing he's going up with, as that tells him a lot. Does he need to react to those early Desert Raiders, or can he kind of play this own game? He's spreading out the deer, making one of those closer food resource for Beasty a little bit more difficult, but he is still on those original berries that got boosted up and not even taking the few amount of sheep he has.
Yeah. We are getting a stable in from BC, so early military units are going to be on the table for him. BC also spots out the stable there from PuppyPaw. Nice scouting is going to give himself that little bit of extra information so he knows what his opponent is going to be coming up with. BC, though, with his own stable, is going to have access to the Desert Raider.
Yep. First horseman is out and about, and BC is going for horseman himself. No Desert Raiders yet. Puppy still just spreading out those deer, being a nuisance, and also still, getting a little bit of valuable information for himself. And there's the archery range from Beasty as well. Looks like it is more of that, at least minimal amount of feudal age investment for now. Question is does he pull that early trigger like we saw, I think, Lucifron do in an earlier game that did not pay off, or does he commit a little bit heavier?
I think he should just commit a little bit heavier. Just try and keep up with the unit mass, maybe even try to step ahead a little bit. You just want to buy yourself time in feudal age to get to that golden age 2, because once you get golden age 2, your upgrades come in so much quicker. So when you finally hit that castle age, your timing is just gonna be much faster than if you were hitting castle age without golden age tier 2.
Yep. First contract on the way. We're gonna see some javelin throwers as the choice here from PuppyPaw.
It's true.
Going to be able to snipe out those Desert Raiders quite easily. Not too big of a struggle there, and it's kind of that great unit to counteract them the easiest. And BC's moving into archers too.
Yeah, mass archers, now the blacksmith coming in. So like that play here so far with the heavy commitment to the feudal age as well. I think that's just overall being underused with the Ayubids, because they're still a berry civilization, meaning they will have excess food available to them. So getting the unit mass out early with food-heavy units, it's not that big of a deal to them.
Yep. Doesn't feel as bad as some of those civs where all of a sudden you make a few units and you're like, where's all my food? Now I can't make this transition. I can't get up to castle like I need. A Ubit's not so much, and you can always go advancement if need be. Beasty going ahead and getting some of those valuable upgrades in as well from the slow gold trickle he's got from the few villagers out on his gold vein that he hasn't been, you know, really idled at all.
Some numbers looking good, and PuppyPaw behind this. I mean, the economy is still looking very solid for him. The castle age timing looks to be better than the Iubit timing here in this one. Should get to that point. Melee mode activated for the Desert Raider. Not something that you really want to stick around with. And Scout getting sacrificed.
Yeah, Scout thrown on away as those horsemen do have that extra bit of movement speed. Desert Raider sniping those down, and Beasty doubling, tripling down, triple range, as well as I think that was 2 stables. So he is 100% going in for this feudal. Puppy, though, is posturing more towards this castle, but still producing here and there.
Yeah, Outpost definitely does make it look like that. Archers for Beasty. Have to be careful with their positioning, even inside the base. At the same time, Beasty also raiding onto Woodline. PuppyPaw has units there. Did he lose a villager there? I'm not quite sure.
I don't think so. And on the other side, was able to micro those horsemen back. Beasty constantly
a worker got
kiting.
killed. Beasty killed a worker.
One single worker kill. PuppyPaw still trying to do some damage with those horsemen. You can see he's halfway to castle, but still producing units here and there. So that is definitely slowing him down. And yeah, he doesn't want to be too greedy with it. Doesn't want to go naked castle and then get overrun by units. But at the same time, wants to get there sooner than later.
Horseman, for the time being, just running around, now taking a favorable fight against just the 2 horsemen that are remaining there. At the same time, Beasty walking into the midnight. And the Desert Raiders all getting taken down. That was huge.
Desert Raiders taken down, horsemen on the backside. Beasty this whole time has been trying to deal with this horseman mass that's just been circling around back and forth, and that's where he got distracted just a little bit. Gives Puppy some breathing room now. Another horseman able to get picked.
Down. They're escaping now as well.
This is where Puppy, he's pushing some deer in with those units, and all he needs now for Castle Age is food, which idle out some production. Next little bit of drop-off. He's 100 food away.
He's getting there. Now on the deer as well. Drop-off is happening.
He just queued up 2 more units.
And there you go. Castle Age should be right around the corner soon. Soon. Any moment now.
And Beasty has moved out to the eastern side berries as well, so he is starting to run lower on those initial food resources, wants to start going out for some more vulnerable ones, and making sure he drops an outpost beforehand.
Beasty now sending a lot of villagers over to gold, so he knows, okay, now is the point in time where I also got to transition over to that castle age. The question is going to be, which wing will it be? I'm guessing now with PuppyPaw hitting that castle age first, it's probably going to be the advancement wing.
Yeah, he needs to get up sooner than later. Golden Horn Tower already halfway to up. Still nice old gap in the middle of those wood lines for him to run on through, try to pressure some vills. Quick reaction by PuppyPaw. No damage able to be done. Walls on the backside, getting close to finishing, and I'm sure he will follow that up with a wall in between those 2 wood lines too.
Yeah. For sure. Military count overall dead even, but attack advantage now coming in for PuppyPaw, and the upgrade for the veterancy on those javelin throws, on those mercenaries, does come in quite quickly.
Yep. Walls trying to be burnt down by Beasty. He hears the age up. He sees the age up now. And the contract is already halfway to finishing.
All getting breached. Beasty not diving in though. And there it is. It's going to be logistics wing even from Beasty. First Monk already in queue for PuppyPaw though.
Yeah, so Beasty trying to be nice and patient. Moving forward with his archers.
But the javelin throwers do find them.
And there's still that big horseman mass as well from Beasty on the front side. Limit and I are here though, and the javelin throwers are just gonna shred everything right now. Horsemen are getting one shot by those.
Yeah, the javelin throw is also just absolutely demolishing every single unit here out from Beasty. Military count now falling. Still gonna be a while for logistics wing to finish up, and PuppyPaw should be able to net himself maybe 3 relics here, I want to say, just because when you get 3 dervishes out immediately, it's gonna mean that you're, like, chances are you're still gonna get, like, at least 2 relics.
Yeah, the thing about BC though, look at what he's doing, dropping triple barracks. He knows he's going to need to transition onto a different set of units, and the units that he's decided to do is going to be a Gulam mass. Burns down the wall again, trying to produce some more idle time, and Puppy knows he needs to do some damage, so he just split off his military mass that he won that fight with and headed towards Beasty's base.
Yeah, Beasty, though, sees that the deer have been taken through the fog of war and is just going to move his entire military mass over towards that deer. Does a nice job as well. It's going all the way around the corner, meaning that PuppyPaw probably isn't going to see those horsemen coming. Idle time being forced inside the base, though, at the same time. Let's take a look at the horsemen. Are they going to find any value there? We do have Varangian guards in defense.
Yeah. Not much ability to get that much damage. And speaking of Varangian guards, they're not only on defense, they are on offense as well. So Beasty has to balance at a few different spots. The main mass is about to start diving the TC, and oh my gosh, the timing, they almost...
Devil throws? Okay, they're not doing anything. All right, never mind. It's okay.
Wololo goes in, but Beasty's base is now being dove, and all of his production is being sat on by this mass. Puppy can sit here for a while, too, if he wants. There's only 4 units inside that TC.
Production buildings, there's a lot of them, though, and there we go. Production units are coming out, but it's only the
they're all
crossbows
dying.
first.
Yeah. This is awful. He just loses every single crossbow now.
That definitely hurt. Now, the Golems are forcing the javelin throws away, though, but damage has been done immediately here, and PuppyPaw looking in a great position, already up to 14 Varangian guards now. Granted, damage has been done in his base, but these horsemen don't really have a lot of future perspective over there.
And Beasty will be able to circle around with those relics. Looked like he was still able to move out with those 3 camels and moving back with 3 relics as we speak, too.
Beasty's doing still a lot of damage to those villagers on the deer. Just able to pick them up there time and time again. Dervish?
Oh no.
Oh, well, no, not coming
It's
in.
fine.
Yeah, even the Berserk has been pulled there for that extra bit of DPS on those units.
Gold still attempting to be denied, and now Puppy, he spots out some of those buried villagers. He knows Beasty has to be getting resources from somewhere, and saw where all of those villagers moved out, and more relics being denied. But
More
Beasty
villagers being
still, unbelievable job. This is where
These
it's so
horsemen have been
annoying.
alive
Just
so
a
long.
few horsemen, a few knights, whatever it is. Beasty will constantly do this over and over. There's another set of berries there, Puppy. Just move forward. This is what
you gotta give Beasty so much credit for these raids that he does with horsemen in these type of
job.
games, where he just runs around the entire time, runs in back in again, kills a couple of villager, and just keeping the horsemen alive for such a long time. This game is still gonna be very rough for him, and right now PuppyPaw still has a very strong military lead. But Beasty, he's gotten damage in, and he's got an economic lead. The question is, can he stall this game out for long enough for where that economic lead is gonna start really mattering?
Oh,
My God, that's
he
gonna
had
be idle
an
time there.
economic league. Look at where the javelins are. They can cut this off. The javelins
can.
can just dive this location if they want. But he's still getting damage in. Horsemen finally get cleared up. Those are not
Ooh, that's just gonna hurt.
spearmen.
This is
Those
gonna
are-
hurt. This might be GG. If he can save those. If that's a big if though. And now
They have
BC's
nowhere to
military is
go.
gonna have to meet PuppyPaw's military there to try and save these villagers. The issue is that he can't take these fights.
Oh no.
Mangonels are coming in though.
Oh, a little bit of overkill there. They're all focusing one villager. Now we're seeing a little bit of some split there. Is able to at least save a few of those mangonels. Good reaction by
God, you have to be
PuppyPaw.
so careful
Great
there.
dodges. Varangian's now on top of the mangonel, but there's villagers there to...
Oh my God, these are so
Another
close.
dodge
These
by
hits.
PuppyPaw.
Repair comes in on the mangonels, and BC able to win this fight, but there's more Varangian guards now coming in.
Great micro by PuppyPaw to dodge, but still unbelievable job by Beasty. Out microing, utilizing the siege there. Villagers back on the berries. PuppyPaw, is this where you make the swap into some crossbows yourself?
There's so many more Varangian guards.
Or just 28 Varangian guards. You're just gonna split these across and just send it in. I guess he was just so distracted at dealing with those horsemen for a while. He was probably splitting up different groups. And
it's actually insane.
Yeah. There's the third mangonel.
Once you get to 3 mangonels, like 3 mangonels almost kill men-at-arms. Varangian guards have less health than men-at-arms. They like 3 mangonels might actually one-shot Varangians.
Oh, it's only 2.
It's
only 2 mangonels, and more villagers are falling. Varangians circling. There's nowhere to go.
It's not enough. It's not enough. And GG gets called.
Oh my gosh. PuppyPaw able to keep up the pressure, keep up the onslaught, and not allow Beasty to stabilize. Great back and forth, and 2-1 series lead now from PuppyPaw.
Man. So far, these games, they've been absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Jesus.
It is just wild back and forth. Crazy to just see these series. Crazy to see how close these games can be. And it's always just decided in these split seconds here and there. If someone's looking away, someone, oversteps a little bit, it's getting raided and pushing forward at the same time, and then loses his force. But that was game 3. Now we're seeing the matchup on game 4. It's Dry Arabia, and it's Roos versus Abbasid. I know what comes to mind here for me, but what do you think is going to end up being in store for this today?
Roos versus Abbasid. That's going to be an interesting one. Roos coming in here for PuppyPaw. Abbasid for Beasty. I mean, does it even make sense to go military wing here in this matchup? You can't really do a lot of damage to the Roos anyway due to that Kremlin in most situations on Dry Arabia. So I don't know. I don't really see the option of military wing here. Economic wing doesn't feel great in the current meta, I want to say, mainly because you're going to be like incentivized into going for 3 TC, which nowadays just is very easy to punish. So I'm thinking Culture Wing is going to have to be the main choice here from Beasty in this one. It's still a difficult matchup for sure. Granted, Abbasid has some nice benefits against a cavalry civilization with the best spearmen in the game. I'm just gonna say though, still, this is gonna be a difficult one for PuppyPaw, and I would favor Beasty here in this one.
Yeah, it's actually one that I think usually with Roos, you don't play the typical Roos game because, what's the typical Roos game? It's like, oh, you can't raid me. I'm going to, drop my second DC. It's like Abba can do the same thing, but they can drop multiple DCs. They can defend from your, from your knights. They got fresh food stuff. They got all these different things. So where I come to mind, I remember it's not the most previous series they played from Wham versus Beasty, but I think it was the last tournament. And Wham did a shocking OG Roos proxy boar archer all in play in Feudal, and that's one where sometimes it puts Abba on the back foot. They're not ready for it. So Wham, Puppy's brother, obviously, could we see the same strategy there in the past in a matchup that I would say is a little bit Abba favored, and it's something to maybe change the pace.
Yeah, that's something that you would like. You talk about the proxy archer ranges with Roos. That's something that you would used to see on Altai all the time in the middle of the map. It's going to be exciting to see how this is going to turn out. We're going to take a quick look at our player cards here. We can tell, like, right away, Beasty so far looking absolutely amazing. But PuppyPaw able to get the lead in this set so far, and also his games so far just been looking absolutely brilliant. Earlier today, we saw him face off against his brother Wham, where Wham managed to take the victory. Now, PuppyPaw, he's going to try and get the revenge in against his brother. Tries to get back up from the second chance bracket here once again, but Beasty, not out yet, wants to preserve his spot in the Red Bull Wololo qualifier.
Yeah, you could see defense at the max on BC's player card for good reason. We saw it multiple times today, especially, considering some of the fights he had against Lucifron, some of the comebacks he had against Lucifron. And speaking of comebacks, he's got to make one here down one game in the series here, the best of 5, and we are in this game number 4.
There we go. Beasty with the Bastard Dynasty is going to go for a double scout opener, respecting the Roost bounty early on. PuppyPaw on the other hand side, not opting to make a scout from his TC. That will have to wait for the hunting cabin to finish. So first scout is going to come into queue roughly at like 35 seconds into the game, while BC already has a second scout out.
Yeah, this is where sometimes you can see Bruce kind of falling a little bit further behind than when people realize, like, oh, they get so many scouts so fast. It's like, well, if the opponent actually reacts and builds that second scout immediately, Bruce is usually a little bit greedy, like you said, and second deer pack already being secured by Beasty, we can already see a wolf next to that. He will surely grab as well.
Both the deer from PuppyPaw are right next to each other, and so far no scout moving over to that direction.
And the scout went south instead of north.
There's another scout coming in, though. Hopefully that one is going to go and find those 2 deer spot. Because if you don't, PuppyPaw so far, he's found a total of 0 bounty.
That's more than 80.
Wait, what?
Or less than 80, sorry.
Okay.
bad
right.
math there.
Sometimes less is more.
80. But he has found, oh my gosh, he might not. Yeah.
Oh.
He has found the second deer pack.
Okay.
He's fighting over another wolf as well. So maybe that wolf. Honestly, the only thing I've seen from BC though is he might not have as many sheep as what you want here. You know, obviously it's not your main concern being ABBA. We've seen it time and time again. But PuppyPaw has had a great circle around with that first scout.
Yeah, definitely. But now deer are getting found out by Beasty, and we're going to have a little bit of a deer match here.
There's 2 scouts here from Puppy. Actually 3 if he pulls that other one up, so he can easily just snipe out all the ones that Beasty wants to try to counteract.
Beasty actually did manage to get one of them. So it's going to be 130 bounty here from PuppyPaw now. Definitely.
155?
Yeah, it starts to climb up a little bit, but bounty-wise, it's not looking too hot at the moment here for PuppyPaw.
Now it's definitely more than 80, so that's at least good.
Almost double.
Yep. But not where you want to be. You always want to be at that 250. You asked if military wing's even worth it, and apparently BC says it is worth it to him.
That's interesting. I didn't expect that. I would have been like dead set on culture wing here.
Yeah, I assumed it would have been one of the other wings for sure, as I don't think there's too much value you can gain from here, but maybe he's just thinking that the second TC location might not be as greedy. He sees the double deer packs, you know. Second TC will have to be dropped more conservatively, can't just go over onto that deer and things of that sort unless PuppyPaw drops some production first.
Yeah, right now there doesn't really seem to be any resource that Beasty is going to be able to really pressure with that military wing. Could instead... Oh, no, never mind. I was about to say instead he could use it to lure in some deer, but all the deer have already been killed as Roos is in the game.
Yeah, that's what I'll think about. It's like when you can't do anything with your, early spears automate, it's like go ahead and, push in some deer for yourself. And every time we hear a wolf getting killed, it's not Puppy, it's Beasty. Puppy's been able to get one more wolf. He's at 180 bounty. This is a huge feels bad.
Yeah, PuppyPaw, he's going to rely on a lot of the passive gold that he gets from the hunting cabin. And chances are also that he will just have to wait until Castle Age in order to be able to go up to that 250 bounty mark, unless he gets a boar in this game. And the boars are all very far in the corner. It's going to take some walking time. Granted, Wheelbarrow is now coming in for him.
Yeah. Scouts circle around, just making sure they get knowledge and information of what Beasty's doing. He sees the units pop out, sees the villagers onto the stone. The question is how much stone is Beasty going to gather? Enough for another TC or 2?
I mean, typically with military wing, we don't see more than 2 TC. I'd be surprised if it was like a 3 TC military wing kind of play. That'd be interesting, though.
I laugh. I remember the ABBA days where it was always like, you just make one more TC than your opponent does always. Just if they're matching your TC, just make another. It's like your villagers are going to be cheaper. It's harder for theirs to pay off. It's easier for yours to. So that's kind of what I was laughing and joking and thinking about. But we'll see here in just a little bit as Beasty, next drop off should have enough for that secondary TC.
Yeah, both players are going to have a very similar timing here with the TC drop. Beasty gathering up a little bit of extra stone at this point in time.
And he's still on the stone. This isn't like this is definitely deliberate. The question is it arrow slits? Is it upgrades? Or is it another TC indeed?
I mean, it looks like it, right? Like, he still has the villagers on stone. This isn't arrow slits. He has the TC to defend the gold mine. He's going 3 TC.
He just pulled off of the wood mine, though, so it's going to be a later third TC, but PuppyPaw does scout it, so he is planning on doing the same. But look at the... Oh my gosh. Gremlin's got to be called. Micro from PuppyPaw. He will have a few of these villagers quite low health later on, but the TC... This is a hard struggle, and I told you it was going to need to be dropped more conservatively, and not conservatively enough, apparently.
Yeah, inside of his own wood line, Brent. I mean, he's going to get it up as to make sure the villagers stay alive. Villager does stay alive.
Oh my gosh, villager barely able to stay alive.
He's going to get a kill.
Yep.
Does get a kill as well.
Oh, that was just such an annoyance, though. He had to pull more villagers from the wood line than he was wanting. So in reality, Puppy could have gotten the secondary or third TC down probably much quicker than Beasty, as we saw him pull all the woodvilles as well for it. But it's going to be pretty similar timings for the third TC, too.
Ooh, Beasty getting a little bit close to TC. Needs to be careful, because with the formation, the units stick out a little bit more on the sides.
Oh, and he ends up getting the third where you want it too. It's his
very
prime
nice
time location.
Double deer spot there as well. This is going to be a ton of food for him.
All right, so you remember what I said. You always make one more TC than your opponent. So now BC needs to make a fourth, right?
N+1 TCs, that's how it works.
BC,
Where's
though.
BC's third TC? Oh, he's not dropped it yet.
He hadn't dropped it yet. He was way later. Like I said, he pulled all of the woodvilles when he was building his TC, so he wasn't gathering wood whatsoever. And PuppyPaw also has the Kremlin to boost the wood income. So third TC down much sooner for PuppyPaw than it is for Beasty. Although when we're talking about TC booming, it will be a big advantage this early on. We'll see, PuppyPaw not only has the TC down, it's also being able to produce while Beasty is just now building his, and that's a lot of villagers not working.
Yeah. Now third TC coming in. Difference is going to be, though, that Beasty is going to pay a lot less resources to produce villagers. He's going to pay 300 resources per minute to keep all 3 TCs working. PuppyPaw will have to pay 450.
Yeah. Quite a bit more substantial, but PuppyPaw, he has at least already gotten a little bit of that Vill lead to make up for it. He's already on the deer. He's already kind of secure himself up and doesn't have some idle time of villagers building TCs right now.
Yeah. My personal experience from playing Ruse and going 3 TC, usually I lose if I do that. Brent, I don't play a lot of Ruse, but if I go 3 TC, I feel like I greed a little bit too much. I'm not sure how this works in a matchup where you're like on even TCs to an Abbasid player, but looking at the bank from Beasty right now already, we can tell that he's got a lot more resource in the bank that he'll be able to work with. Granted, PuppyPaw just invested into a stable and a knight, so I'm not 100% sold on that in a situation where all of BC's resources are covered by TCs.
Yeah, and BC's building walls. He's going to go up to castle, so it feels like this knight's going to move across the map and then go, oh, I can't do anything. I need to run home. And PuppyPaw will at least be able to fast build his landmark once he gets to the point where castle age is needed, but it never feels good when Abba is the one aging up before you.
Yeah, definitely doesn't, especially because as soon as the age up comes in, they already have enough resource to basically go up to the next age. Was that culture wing cancelled into economic wing? I feel like I saw Culture Wing and then got cancelled into Economic Wing. If so, I don't dislike that. Economic Wing before the farm transition is where most of its value comes in because of the big wood discount.
We see one villager picked, so, you know, forget my assessment of the knight being completely worthless. It was at least able to get one secured. Puppy was moving out to the boar in the southern side as well, so bounty is no longer going to be as much of a problem. He's got that 250 bonus coming.
Up,
oh no.
The boar's still alive.
Oh,
Puma
no.
is still, he's still kicking.
No. Oh my gosh.
Oh
Stop.
no. 2 villagers down. Don't let it be 3. Okay, he realized. That is a big screw up.
I feel so bad. Oh my gosh, that's one of those that just hands to the face.
And suddenly you see the worker kills from Beasty. That was all him. 3. We can tell Capture Age knows Beasty killed 3 villagers there in that situation.
Yep. Puppy is causing a good bit of idle time with those knights, so is giving himself the timing that he needs to go up. But this also sucks because now that's 2 extra villagers that should be on the nicest, best food gathering on the map right now. A lot of walking time that he spent. So I think he's even sending 2 more villagers back out there because he wants them. Yeah, he is. Because he wants the maximum efficiency on this board gathering.
Yeah. High Trade House now coming in, but Economic Wing gonna finish up nice and early here. Wall's not quite finished yet from PuppyPaw. Will close off the map a little bit though. Knight still causing a little bit of annoyance. Actually getting another villager kill in, so, you know, makes up a little bit for that mishap.
Yeah, but this is one where, you know, in the back of your mind, you're like, I should be more ahead. You know, Puppy should be sitting at 66 villagers. A header. Yeah, a header. 2 more knights circling around. He is really forcing Beasty condensed in his base. Like, it feels like anytime a villager moves out, tries to build something, tries to take a resource that's a little further out, that Beasty's getting punished for it.
High Trade House soon finishing up, but behind this, the deer, they're also pretty much getting vacuumed up by PuppyPaw right now behind this. Some production buildings coming in, and granted, with the resource that PuppyPaw has in the bank right now, this sort of feels like an Abbasid age up because he goes up with enough resource to basically age up again.
Yeah, and it looks like he's doing a men-at-arms play. However, Beasty is producing crossbows already, so the men-at-arms doesn't feel the greatest. Walls trying to be built again. Hopefully those villagers have an escort of spears. If not, there's going to be some more villager picks. And there is not an escort of spears. There it is. Oh, they weren't too far away, but they were not close enough still.
Early Knights now promoted to normal Knights.
I think he just takes the crossbows out now.
Actually,
that wall's gone. That wall's not built. Just run away.
It's not, yeah. Might be able to get some point-blank charges off.
Oh.
Ooh, 1 knight remaining. And there's still the Camel Archer, so Camel on these is gonna mean that you're gonna need an extra hit. Okay, TC did enough damage.
Well, the knights have died. PuppyPaw has a slight villager advantage, albeit, you know, nothing crazy at this point in the game. A 5 villager lead at the 10-minute mark with 1 TC is a little bit different than a 5 villager lead at the 10-minute mark with 3 TCs. But again, I know we're a little bit further.
Yeah. PuppyPaw going for men-at-arms and archers. I like the archer call here. Sometimes players, they shy away from archers in the castle age when they haven't been making archers in the feudal age, just because, like, you feel like you don't have the unit mass, but you can surprisingly, like, build them up really quickly, especially as Roos. 134 gold per minute. Yeah, relic and a half.
1,500 wood per minute in the bank. So you said, you know, PuppyPaw should be able to mass that archer number up quick, and easily should be able to do so with that much wood coming in the bank, but you got to have the production down as well. Couple
of farms coming in for PuppyPaw as well. Should also be coming in for Beasty now, since his farms are going to cost quite a bit less. Warrior Monk has been sniped, wasn't carrying a relic though, and it looks like PuppyPaw is going to be able to secure himself 3 of the 5 relics on this map.
Yep, Beasty going ahead and burning down some of those walls, even though he has a clear path around them if he wants.
You never really know. Like it could be that it's only one. Like even if you click on the other side and you see your units are moving towards the bottom side, could be that it's only one tile that's getting walled off right as you speak, like right as you're walking over there.
That is true. Even still, PuppyPaw doesn't have enough here to defend this up, and he is going to be the first one to make siege in this game. He's men-at-arms, archers, and mangonels.
One of the most important units in the game.
I mean, I feel like he's still got a ton of resources in the bank. He's got a ton of units in queue. It's just he needs more production out, honestly, and his numbers would be right there with Beasty. He's got 8 men-at-arms in queue. He needs more barracks. Oh no.
Oh, that's a rushed up outpost. There aren't too many armored units up though from Beasty, to be fair. Like this outpost would do a lot of damage, and there's not a lot of ore left either. Beasty scouts sees the villagers moving away though.
And
they
he is going to chase that outpost. Yeah, I think there wasn't enough melee units there to. I guess there's a lot of spears. I don't know if they're all there though. Oh, those villagers are dying now.
Yeah, I mean they ripped that boar apart. There's not much food left there.
Chop
the end of the world.
Potentially. Beasty's building his own mangonels now, though, and that's the benefit of playing the Abbasid is they can build up their own siege on the field. Super easy to equalize the numbers. And meanwhile, PuppyPaw going ahead and getting that Springled in queue as well.
Yeah, definitely going to be needed here. PuppyPaw's got a good army mass now at this point in time. Sure, Beasty has more raw numbers, but the men-at-arms are going to be much more worthwhile than these spearmen so far. Just no crossbows to be able to deal with the ghouls yet.
Yeah, Ghulam mass hasn't climbed up too high, but that is one where even if there's just a few on that front line, your archers, you got to make sure you are constantly microing, hitting spears, hitting archers, hitting crossbows, and not those Ghulams.
That's a big army now from Beasty. He's sending his units into the base from PuppyPaw. PuppyPaw has a mangonel and a Springled though.
Oh, mangonel. Beasty.
Oh, that's a big shot.
God. First shot is absolutely massive in the grouped up. Going through the choke point too. Beasty can't step back forward, or else the mangonel will be able to fire. The Springled's already out for PuppyPaw, and remember, Beasty doesn't have the siege workshop. He built it, so he has to stop with all of those units to build up more siege. So if Puppy continues the fight, continues stepping forward, then this makes it all the more difficult for Beasty to stabilize on the siege war.
Yeah, Springled now coming in for Beasty, but at the same time, PuppyPaw also sending in more Springleds through his siege workshop, banking up a lot of resource in the bank as well. So at any one point in time, this could be an age up into Imperial Age if he feels like it. He's getting close to 200 pop. Both players are. Beasty already there almost.
Yeah, I mean, both players going to be 200 pop. The key difference is Beasty's been spending all of his resources, and Puppy is about to be at the point where he's 200 pop, and the high armory, 15 villagers on it. The siege superiority immediately goes through the roof. He can get, you know, the banded arms. He can get all of that extra range on the Springleds and just win from there. Beasty?
Siege fight.
Mangonel? Oh my. Mangonel's gone.
Snipes it out and has the Springled still.
Springled's trade. Fall back a little bit. Villagers are there. Fight's being taken. Another Springled trade.
And
the Mangonel's alive, though. The Mangonel's alive.
The archers, they're all firing onto the Springled.
Oh! A lot of villagers did go down over onto the gold vein, but the villagers aren't the biggest problem here. PuppyPaw calls the gremlins. The militia are going to be that front line. Mangonel trying to push forward to take down the ranged Master Beasty, and Beasty is having to fall back.
Now Beasty has to be able to go up to the Imperial Age himself. Has a full farm transition. More farms coming in yet. It's got the sacred sites behind it all. So it gets a lot of passive income.
But you just said it. Beasty's needing to go up to Imp. That means he needs the idle out military production. And oh my, keep drop. Though. There's also a couple men-at-arms here from Beasty, so we'll be able to spot out the villagers. Puppy needs to fall back.
Puppy.
Oh no. Oh no. The
Realize
villagers
it now.
again.
Gets the information though about Beasty being there with the keep as well. So at least has that going for himself. Could, in theory, invest into a bombard to try and take that down. For now, villagers are going to have to do a little ring around the rosies there.
A couple of
Beasty soon able to go up as well behind it.
Yep, it's not too far. The key difference here with Beasty is the timing. It takes a while, and he's choosing Trade Wing. 1 minute and 40 seconds. No rushing that one up for ABBA. It will take 1 minute and 40 seconds, or 1 minute and 30 seconds left now.
All going into Streltsy. Classic Ruse army composition here. Upgrade on the Springles has come in. He's only got 2 Springles. Beasty up on 5, but with the bonus range, might still be able to push into Beasty's base. I have to see how exactly that's going to go. We're getting upgrades for the Horsemen now as well. Horsemen and Spearmen. So classic Ruse composition. Streltsy, Spearmen, and Horsemen. That's going to be the name of the game here for the Ruse, as is tradition, I want to say.
Yep, knocking on the front door as well. Is that a chop through? Not quite, but walls will be burnt down and won't take too long to do so. There's the Master and Beasty. It's still all range. There's 8 Gulams. There's the Springled stepping up now. First one gets sniped out, and PuppyPaw able to immediately fall back. Can circle back, probably snipe out another Springled. There we go yet again. Mangonel's fire! Oh my god, Mangonel shots! Oh,
huge damage done there.
God.
Mangonel's
no front line
down.
for the Springles. No front line to deal with this men-at-arms match just from running into Beasty's eco. He's trying to do the best he can to kite back. There's a keep next to the wood line.
He's healing up the... Oh, God.
And now this mass from Puppy is just meant to dive. He just wants to trade. Springles are still trying to trade with their extra range, but Beasty reaches Imperial, and now Puppy, he's overstepped. He's inside the production. He's inside the walls with this Springles and needs to fall back.
Yeah, Springles need to get out. Streltsy are able to do a good amount of damage here right now.
Blocking.
To those Springles. Traders have to be careful where they want to go. And Puppy has secured himself a gold mine.
Beasty's trying to build some more walls on this southern side, splitting off units, not allowing units into his eco. Puppy could use building some more walls himself, as we all know what Beasty's known for, splitting off a few units, throw some into the eco, and that is what gives him the chance back into some of these games.
Bolts on the sides, being harassed now by the Horsemen that PuppyPaw is switching into. A lot more upgrades coming in. Boya's Fortitude now as well. Not great, but normal bombards also in queue.
Great bombards would be something else here. A couple of the Streltsy walked past. They were starting to take down some villagers, and there's the Master and Beasty. Right as the wall gets burnt down, Puppy's units will get taken out. He does not have as many military units out. He's definitely going for a higher quality. He's getting that bombard. He's getting the Streltsy, and he has the siege mass.
Yeah, Streltsy do take a while in order to really mass up. You need a lot of archer ranges to really constantly be able to produce them. At the same time, Horseman mass is building up for PuppyPaw. He's going to try and find some raids with that. Try to keep the army from Beasty back and occupied with those Horseman raids. More walls now coming up from Beasty.
Yeah, Puppy just kind of... He doesn't have any blacksmith upgrades, so these keeps are actually shredding the Horsemen.
Absolutely. Blacksmith upgrades now going to be getting in queue. It's going to take a while. Beasty now finds the keep there from PuppyPaw. Gold mine is going to be protected.
Yep, PuppyPaw gives the knowledge, gets the information of where Beasty's big army is headed towards, but still not reacting from that information. I think has some villagers on the stone down there that need to watch out, but Puppy wants to start denying the gold from Beasty.
Bombard moving over there to that gold, and that is one of the most important upgrades to deny. Beasty, you look at his economy bank, he's up to 150 villagers. Any villager he loses now at this point doesn't really matter to him. And he's got an insane eco bank behind us all. The only thing he's lacking right now, or the only thing he really needs, is gold.
Yeah, and I feel like this is one of those things you see Beasty do this all the time. Just soak up all the resources on the map, deplete them from your opponents. You know what Roos needs a lot of his gold. Well, if you're taking up the big 8K gold vein on the northern side and not allowing Roos to get that, that is your huge advantage. Getting a decent bit of raids, but now Puppy, he's about to take down that keep you talked about. It was just a few minutes later than what we were expecting, but the pressure is still there, trying to deny gold.
Great force there from Beasty is getting taken down, and Beasty right now, military-wise, military numbers not looking too hot for him. A huge chunk of his military has just been taken down. Tries to repair the keep here. Tries to buy himself some time. Streltsy are moving up now, though.
Oh, and those villagers are going to fall fast. Like you said, though, the villagers don't matter right now. He is all about taking all the resources on the map. As villagers fall, it should be able to get replaced by actual military pretty quick. And there's what we see it now. Some spearmen headed over to that bombard. Springalds take out the bombard before the keep falls, I believe.
Yeah, we got some aggressive traders in the mix of Beasty's army there as well, moving forward.
And the keep stays up. The gold vein is still secured. Springalds still trading out with each other. And Puppy winning those trades.
Streltsy just, yeah, doing Streltsy stuff. They're still getting peppered by the keep, though.
Puppy's up to 5, Springalds 2. He has that siege superiority that he needs. Has the horseman number starting to climb up a little bit. There's still some units on the backside here from Beasty that are doing some damage.
Some damage, yeah. Beasty stuck at 200 pop right now. PuppyPaw not quite. He's trying to get these really expensive unit mass going, but it's taking him a while.
I feel like Puppy's been getting the super expensive upgrades too, instead of some of the ones that could be more vital for himself. He doesn't even have burst ranged armor in. Yeah,
blacksmith upgrades definitely important here for him. He's right now, he's just massing archers and spearmen, so just going for the very cheap army composition. He doesn't have that much gold currently.
Yeah,
While the income is big, though, he's just spending it all.
Oh, there's the stone walls, so doesn't want to have to deal with any horseman raids, so a great way to deny those is build up some stone walls.
Indeed, PuppyPaw now got another bombard out. Might want to try and get another go in against that keep.
Ooh, Mangonel in decent position to potentially get some shots onto the main army mass of Beasty, but that army mass will be so easily replenished. This is one of those games that, you know, once you see 3 TCs on either side, we know we're getting into late imp.
Yeah. That's a lot of Streltsy in queue right now as well. PuppyPaw is getting a really big army mass going now. Beasty, food bank up to 8.5K.
Another keep being dropped as well. So these raids, these locations that he's trying to take and secure, it's going to be so much harder for Puppy to continue to send horsemen. The stone wall has secured up the trade route, even though it's not that vital for himself. As we do see, the market has been dropped a little bit further out, though, to the north.
There's the bombard trying to fire onto that keep. Beasty's bank is just climbing and climbing when it comes to the resources.
And he just keeps making more villagers and more eco, because Puppy's not actually causing damage. Yeah, it's just kind of been sitting stagnant. The key is if Puppy's able to start getting some map control, taking some sacred sites, moving on to some of these resources more to the center rather than in his home.
Streltsy moving forward once again. Couple minute arms soaking up the arrow fire from the keep here. And now once again, units coming from the side. Mangonel getting picked off. Gets one shot in.
And the Streltsy are fighting up against archers with composite bows. It's not the most valuable trade. Yeah, they're still doing work, but it's still resource probably efficient for Beasty. But the keep finally falls. The gold vein that Beasty was on denied, but he's already fallen back to another gold vein. I don't know how much gold's left in that 8K, but it did not look like much.
Yeah, this is, I mean, this is still roughly 1,000. That's still worth getting. But Beasty now, with this much economy, I'm wondering when like the 100 horsemen start coming out. Soon, probably.
Considering he is making the horseman switch now, he's getting biology, horseman upgrades. I think the horseman swap is about to happen as we speak.
Yeah. I'm happy for though the Streltsy. If it gets to the point where Beasty's just trickling in units, PuppyPaw's got this. But if Beasty can like get the raids in his opponent's economy, like PuppyPaw is spending all of his resources.
PuppyPaw needs walls. He needs full walls from this horseman mass. But I mean, Beasty doesn't have the horseman mass yet. He's still not even on double-digit horsemen. Meanwhile, PuppyPaw's got 16 Streltsy in queue, so it doesn't seem like PuppyPaw has a bank, but it's because he has a lot of resources tied up. Rams being sent to that gold location, that keep location of PuppyPaw's. Villagers being pulled forward, probably looking to go to the Springold's mass. Beasty's ready to throw away Vills, but PuppyPaw still has Streltsy there to defend. And oh my trade.
Is likely to go down. Villagers try to repair it. That keep is not long for this world.
So both players kind of just trading sides on the map control. Keeps are starting to fall. Beasty's trade route, though, it should fall here in a second. And the question is will PuppyPaw be able to start streaming in units to his economy rather than being on the back foot? Because I see PuppyPaw about to be on the back foot if Beasty is able to make this full transition and not have 150 economy units and instead have 100 and spending all the resources.
Yeah. PuppyPaw has a Springold and a Bombard inside of his opponent base, but needs to push in deeper now.
Yeah, remember this is ABBA that Puppy's playing against, so only needs to take down 2 landmarks. Could technically force a fight, force an engagement on one of those landmarks if he kind of just draws his line in the sand. Streltsy being the front line. Horsemen circle around the backside, going for the Bombard. There isn't a lot of units there to defend on top of the siege. Villagers being pulled there. Streltsy starting to be surrounded, but these are horsemen. They are tankier. Not easy to clean up super quick.
Streltsy standing still. They do get a massive attack speed bonus, and Beasty has eaten through half of his food bank. But the Streltsy numbers have fallen by half.
The Streltsy numbers have essentially disappeared. Mangonel's units on the backside aren't all attacking the reinforcing units from Beasty. And villagers, what is going on here?
I mean, the gold's pretty much gone, but still, these are ideally villagers that PuppyPaw will want to keep alive. He is starting to drop below 100 population soon in the villager department.
Another keep being dropped. This one by PuppyPaw, though. Still units trying to stream forward. Still has a big unit mass. Villagers running from that location. It's a Vill-on-Vill fight, but there's a keep to fall back to for PuppyPaw at least. Does Beasty have wood? Beasty doesn't have wood.
He's got 1,000 wood.
I meant more to gather from. I think that was what that exposure was from. I don't think he... see, he's having to move out of the stone walls.
Yeah. It's a lot of vills there, yeah. Definitely will want to get some of that. PuppyPaw's really struggling with this, like trying to push this in.
Yeah, it really feels like from one side, you're like, oh, it's still going. There's still a lot of red units. It's like, from what we're seeing, though, the gas is running low. There's units in queue, but there's no big bank. But speaking of big bank, Beasties, it was 10K. Now, it's 1K with 22 Ghulams.
Yeah, but Ghulams, there's still plenty of Streltsy out on the map.
Plenty of Streltsy. I'd love to see Puppy just have a few spears or a few more walls to be able to deal with these horsemen. Sent some men-at-arms down to this location that Beasty kind of expanded to with those villagers. And raids are just happening on both sides of the map now, but Puppy is still the one who is trying to deny the trade, trying to break into Beasty's base.
That's PuppyPaw right now, he's not yet on 500 bounty, and there's like 15 deer next to that high trade house.
Oh no, that is such a feels bad when you're watching it. But PuppyPaw, he's deciding to step in. He's not
military.
looking.
There we go. Now it's firing. Men-at-arms are great frontline here. There aren't any backline units from Beasty at this moment. No crossbows, nothing like that. Streltsy, though, are running back from this military mass there.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the stuff was out of position, but the whole exposed villagers on the woodline in the south get taken down by Beasty, just replacing them with traders, though.
There from PuppyPaw keeps chasing behind those couple of horsemen. From Beasty, villager count is still pretty even, both players having killed a lot of villagers this game.
Both the players are now getting the point where they were both overboomed, and now there's so much damage just happening everywhere that the economy numbers are dropping. The military numbers are still staying pretty healthy just because that is all what both players know what they need. And it's got to keep making military, got to keep playing this aggressive/defensive game.
Yeah, keep now here on the defense, boiling all as well, doing damage to these units. PuppyPaw baiting Beasty to take that engagement over there. And right now, I mean, Beasty, food income is dropping around low for him now as well. Like, these raids finally have started to show effect.
Oh, and PuppyPaw was able to wall out that northern side, get himself another set of gold for himself. Horsemen are there to do some raiding. Roos, they need gold. He doesn't have any sort of potential to trade right now. Beasty can constantly raid the trade. There's no walls. So this is actually to the point where it's starting to look scary for PuppyPaw running out of gold.
It is, it is. He still does have 3 relics, though, the high trade house, as well as the potential of making a couple more hunting cabins. But gold at this stage in the game is going to be rough, and when it comes down to it, Abbasid has the better trash units.
I love the triple walls by Puppy. He can easily like run out the northern side, circle back around where his keep is, and come back to that gold. Mangonel barely able to stay alive. Rams should get taken down before they're actually able to do any damage. And Beasty ultimately just lost a lot of units again.
Yeah. Single Streltsy trying to defend this here.
I think this is actually going to be a game where wood is an issue. Like at this point,
it already is.
Wood. Yeah, gold and wood are going to be the two things. It's not food. That's obviously infinite. It is gold and wood.
We're just trying to repair, but trying to repair puts them under pressure here. On the side. The spearmen with the long-range spears as well from the Abbasid. Lots of villagers just went down there for PuppyPaw.
Yeah, drop below 100 yet again. Engagement happening in the middle. Speaking of villagers, oh my god. Beasty has to run away with about 40 villagers there into the center. All of those rams he was producing having to circle. There's still a huge Streltsy mass dealing with the horsemen at home. And I'm scared for Beasty's military pop. He hasn't been rebooming as much. He doesn't have the food. Rapidly. He just fast built a keep. He has a lot of traders, but like this, he doesn't have a lot of food coming in and a lot of military staying alive.
There's so many idle farms right now from Beasty. He's got a lot of trade going, but it's only a short route to the market.
Oh my. Oh my god, no!
Oh no! Oh no!
Again, this is 40 villagers that are just idled running around for Beasty, so him having the extra vill count number doesn't matter too much. Horsemen trying to dive in. There was still some military there. There's some mangonels on the backside that Puppy really needs to take out with his main unit mass he has of spears and Streltsy.
We're down to less than 100 wood per minute now for Beasty. He's trying to still use the remaining wood that he has for rams, try and get some more presence there on the map, trying to take down these keeps. So these keeps from PuppyPaw have been solely positioned in a way to make sure that he's got wood access long term.
And now he gave PuppyPaw the idea, and PuppyPaw has better rams. He's the Roos. They got the wandering towns, moved over, dealt with this easy path, and PuppyPaw has 2,000 wood in the bank. He's about to start sending the ram mass across.
He is, and Beasty right now, he's kind of struggling at this point in time. Food income does look better for him now, but can he hold this?
8 rams into queue, and PuppyPaw is doubling the military mass. I don't know how you can hold this. PuppyPaw even has springalds in case the mangonels start pushing a little too far forward. Horseman trying to dive past towards the springalds. Not enough spears there. Streltsy trying to defend on up. First springle down, second springle down, but there's a mangonel too for Puppy. Keep about to fall, and there are more and more rams that are moving across the map too. I said it, there's 8 in queue, there's 6 more in queue, 7 out onto the field.
Now production buildings are under attack. Beasty still has a lot of production buildings remaining, though. What unit is he going to make right now? Got a lot of gold in the bank, but it doesn't feel like it's enough in order to start investing into mass hand cannons at a point in time where PuppyPaw has 40 Streltsy out of the field.
40 Streltsy, bunch of spears in queue, and now the production falls from Beasty, so this makes it so much harder to stabilize. You don't have as many places that units are popping out. That defender's advantage starts going away a little bit.
Streltsy are broken, dude.
Streltsy are so strong, just able to sit there with their static defenses. Mangonels trying to take down Mangonels on the other side. Same thing with Streltsy, and it did a decent bit of damage there to the other Mangonel. Oh, it just disappears.
Goodbye, Mangonel. Still so many units in queue for PuppyPaw. It's just a never-ending flood. Beasty, though, behind his walls right now, being able to just get those Mangonel shots across, but sooner or later, these Rams, they're starting to make holes.
Yeah, it's all the different spots that PuppyPaw was going. This is one of those that sometimes you'll see people just headbutt the same spot over and over, and Puppy, he's not going to do that. He's going to split it up, go to a couple different spots. Now farm's starting to be denied again. He's got another free path to send units in to start raiding, and he's down on the southern side too.
That is not a good trade. That is a sad trade. Actually, can we quickly check the House of Wisdom, see if Beasty has all the eco upgrades for his trade?
No, he's just now getting them. Look.
Oh no, 30% is quite a bit, even in these very short-term trades. That's the difference between 20 and 26 gold there.
Yeah, and with that many traders, it proves to be a massive difference. Beasty still trying to deny the gold of PuppyPaws.
Get Horseman in.
Walls himself in, actually, but now the Rams are going to be able to hit the trade, hit more of the farms, and there's 3, 4, 5 different holes now for PuppyPaw to run through, PuppyPaw to send units through. His only worry would be gold and losing some of these high value units, but oh my holes, oh my villagers of Beasty. He's back up at 128. It's gonna fall quick.
Yeah, now the traders are getting taken down. No armor on these traders. Not that it matters against the high damage output from the Streltsy. Just like that, traders falling by the dozens now.
Yep, all the farms are falling. I want to see Puppy focusing on some production as well. Villagers trying to burn down Rams encircled by spears. Mangonels, though.
Mangonel did some great damage there. Only the dead bodies remain.
There's still 35 Streltsy, 21 in queue, though. PuppyPaw is not worried about his gold situation at all, and Beasty drops below 100 economic population. Horsemen circle on the Mangonels. First Mangonel goes down. There's still a few more horsemen there. Spears closing the gap as well. Beasty cannot take this fight, but has to take the fight.
There's no way. Golems in mass. They have a hard shelf pool, but it's not going to be enough. They're barely able to get past the spearmen. And the Streltsy are just picking them apart. The traders keep going down. Beasty trying his best to stay up with the economy, up to 100 economy again, but still falling rapidly to 250 killed economic units by PuppyPaw in this game now.
And right when you think he's stabilizing the southern side fight, which he's still struggling to do, another mass goes in on the north side, on the hole in the north. So he is nonstop keeping this onslaught going. More Rams, more Streltsy, spears, horsemen, everything. And now the northern side of the trade, the northern side of the farms are going to be hard.
There's no more wood for horsemen. He literally can't afford the wood for the horsemen now at this point in time.
He's going to have to buy the wood, and that's trades that he cannot afford to make. PuppyPaw is keeping the onslaught up, and will we see him clinch the series and get redemption against his brother next?
Oh, man. At this point, it kind of feels inevitable, doesn't it? 55 spearmen on the field now. Buildings start getting torched down. It takes a while because all of these buildings do have +5 torch armor, but the trade is gone. Beasty now at 93 economy. The military just doesn't stand a chance against the mass of Streltsy pushing in. The Golems without a backline only hold the line, but they can't push it back.
Yeah, and more production just keeps falling. And now as the production falls, Beasty can't make more production. He needs that wood for horsemen. You just said he ran out of wood. Well, 150 wood a pop for these production buildings is so costly.
Oh, getting onto the final remaining landmarks here. All the production buildings going down, and Beasty can't afford remaking these production buildings now at this point in time. Trying to sneak out, trying to go to another wood line now. The Streltsy are already in once again.
I love the Streltsy raiding parties. It's just great. It's like, yeah, you can't send units to deal with these easily. You have to send mass to deal with this. And then by the time you send your mass there, he has another set that's grouped up on a different side, and you immediately have to run around differently. So Beasty, he says, enough of that. I want to do some raiding myself. And at this point, any economic units lost for Puppy, he's got more than enough Q to just end this game.
Yeah, and I feel like at this point in time, it is safe to call it. PuppyPaw is going to be able to knock Beasty out of the Red Bull qualifiers here.
And at this point, we know an NA player will be moving along against Marine Lord. Will it be Puppy or will it be Wham? That is what the hype is going to be tomorrow.
And good thing Red Bull's pockets are deep, because these flights aren't cheap from the US to Europe. So definitely gonna be one of those flights. And man, looking at this game, PuppyPaw with the Rooster 3TC, it looked very, I want to say, fakey there throughout the beginning. Once Castle Age came in, there were some big armies from Beasty trying to push that in. And man, PuppyPaw able to hold it. Went for the siege investment, and in the end, able to get the dub 3-1 against Beasty.
Oh, so many economic units killed, so many just units killed in this game in general. Crazy back and forth. What a game to finish the series on as well. You know, this is one that a lot of people would say, you know, Beasty is that late game extraordinaire, that defensive player, and Puppy just beat him at his own game.
3 years of hard work. PuppyPaw and Wham, they began from nothing, no namers, just emerging in Age of Empires 4, and what a year 2024 is turning out to be for them. One of the reigning champs, the absolute tops, Beasty, has to go out in third just for the qualifier, 4th overall finish. And as you guys rightly said, that does mean we're going to have some intercontinental showdowns to look forward to later this year in Spain, because now we have guaranteed not just European presence, but NA presence. And I've got to say, Dabston, man, after what we saw in the Elite Classic 2 as well, out of both PuppyPaw and Wham, I think it's time to wake up and realize that this is not a one region race anymore. It's not always Europe on top.
Yeah, it feels good to say, especially it being NA, being the breakthrough. You know, there's been times where we thought, you know, maybe, you know, some of the Chinese players were breaking through some of the other spots. Unfortunately, we lost a lot of the Australians who were making some names for themselves for a while, but just timing didn't work out for them. But the NA squad, they've been looking good for a while. They've been in form for a while, but finally, this is the breakthrough they've been wanting.
And what a way to do it. I mean, it's going to be heartbreaking for one of them, right, Crackety? Because tomorrow we have to sign one off to fly across. We can't have both. It feels outrageous that it can't be the case. But PuppyPaw and Wham, I think there's something impressive in the fact that you were right? You trained together like this for a long time. You got that deep. You know your approach was the correct one. But at the same time, having to take out your bro, it's got to be a mixed feeling day.
How do we know which one of them is going to Spain?
Right?
It's just one haircut. It's one haircut.
I'm glad someone said it, because I'm sitting there, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, all right, yeah, Puppy's going across. It's like, well, what if Wham's the better matchup versus Marine Lord? Is he's just like, hey, yo, you got this one for me. I'll just act like I'm you for a couple days.
Boys,
They share a flight. They just check in twice.
I know what it is, right? It's like average game length in that series, an hour and a half, right? Marine Lord's in like game 2 is like, whew, getting tired. Wham's like, oh man, really just be right back. Bathroom break, right? He just sends his bro out fresh, ready to go for another 2 or 3 games. I mean, that's the big brain. There you go. And Marine Lord, like, the lesson here is it's just biological, mate. Natural selection. Be a twin. or be better. But I know he's watching in the chat. I know he's a little bit proud. He's hyped for that. I mean, it's quite interesting, right? Because now we have this beautiful combo meal, Dabston, of the old guard and the new, right? Marine Lord really is the boomer, whether he likes to admit it. He's been around for years. He's got the experience under his belt. PuppyPaw and Wham, either way, we're going to be sending someone to a castle in Spain that has 100% of their prize pool winnings in esports in Age of Empires 4.
Yeah, exactly. And it feels cool saying that. You know, a lot of times, you know, these players, a lot of the players have come from StarCraft, they come from Warcraft, they come from a lot of these other games beforehand, but not Puppy, not Wham. I know I think Stronghold was where they kind of came from, but I don't know how competitively they actually played it. So that's one where I don't even know if there's that big of a competitive scene at all there. So what a name that they are making for themselves, and all from Age of Empires 4.
I mean, it's incredible. And yeah, we can see the head-to-head stats. Like, it's quite interesting to think the way they play out, like a series win one way or the other, but down the line between them. Like, I'm excited to see these two go at each other. And just a reminder, folks, like, potentially a best of 7, but actually potentially a best of 14, because funnily enough, PuppyPaw has got his work cut out for him tomorrow. He has to actually win 2 series to qualify for the LAN now, courtesy of the fact that Wham took him down today. But, you know, the beautiful thing as well, I think, with that set, Crackety, is the way it ended. It was almost poetic, right? It was, you know, we mentioned the old guard versus the new. Even the old playstyle. I feel like Beasty, it may be his final game for Red Bull Wololo, but in a lot of ways, he got to play it the way he loves to play Age of Empires 4.
Yeah, he did. These were some games that definitely went down and dirty there the long way around. And yeah, the classic mud fight analogy there that we had in PuppyPaw in the end, man, with the ruse and against the Abbasid, one of the best late game civilizations there as well, but the Streltsy just in the end proving to be the stronger late game unit there.
Ooh, and I mean, you know, it's kind of crazy to think, like, you know, do we put the praise in PuppyPaw? I feel like we put the praise in PuppyPaw, right, Dabston? Like, you know, this player a year ago, I think he'll admit he would have bowed to that type of style of Beastie in the late game, but there seemed to be something more calculated. I feel like more of a killer instinct. Even small things like that Castle Age fight where he dove the mangoes in, knowing the Springles would take one of them out just to get that opening play. Like, the small differences that have evolved into big changes here out of PuppyPaw in the last year have been incredible.
I mean, you just hit the nail on the head, and that's what being an RTS pro is in general. The difference between being a top 15, being a top 8, and a top 3, it's not just this one glaring weakness or one glaring thing you're bad at. It is a lot of little things all across the board that you have to improve on, and that is what they have done time and time again. The biggest thing that I'll say with the last game that kind of I would say PuppyPaw learned from some of the previous ones was first one to make siege. Bruce also has that siege superiority, so that really helped him get the footing in, helped him be able to be aggressive and defensive at the same time.
And man, you know, now we've got to look forward to tomorrow. And you know, thinking about what we've seen here today, Crackety, I have a feeling we could end up with 14 games, right? With how close that Wham and PuppyPaw series was, there's a realistic chance we get a bracket reset and we get maximum length on the day.
Yeah, something also that I'm quite excited about is how these games, like the playstyle from PuppyPaw vs. Wham, these like I want to say like the games that they play against each other are very different compared to like the games that we see from, let's say, Vortex and Lucifer when they play against each other. Very, very different. They definitely know how to play a game when it gets chaotic as well.
Right.
They don't just throw in the towel. They know, okay, let's get down and dirty. We're gonna do this like for the next 2 hours. This game is gonna go long.
That's the interesting thing, right, Dabson? We mentioned it a bit between those two, the attacker and the defender. You'd think Lucifer and Vortex have that, but I feel like whenever we watch them, they're both just trying to attack. They're both just trying to end the game in 20 minutes.
Yeah, and usually if you're the attacker, you're doing the all-in play or that all-in push, and you have this military loss or the all-in fails, it's over after that, which is a lot of times why we see the Vortex and Lucifer matchup end really early. They throw in the towel. They're like, oh, I was all-inning someone who dropped a second TC, and now he has a military lead and an economic lead. Bye, I'm done. Let's go to the next one. Puppy and Wham, it's a little bit different. They're focusing on macro. Yeah, they might be being, aggressive, but it's also one where they have this feigted aggression and they're castling behind it potential or all these other things, and they're not giving up immediately.
No.